Pod Mortem would like to thank Original Cinematic for sponsoring this week's episode. Original Cinematic is an independent production company that has made it their mission to create, produce, and promote films that are inclusive, honor women, promote the LGBTQIA+ community, and provide prominent positions and roles to POC actors and filmmakers, and promote the films of marginalized and underrepresented populations. These are all things that are extremely important to our podcast as well.
Original Cinematic is currently accepting scripts and treatments. Both William and Xxena Rush are available via email or Zoom to discuss writing and provide input and resources to all aspiring writers, free of charge. Their information will be made available in the show notes. There may be delays due to a hectic schedule and all projects being read on a first-come, first-served basis, but everything will be read and responded to. William Rush has individually produced numerous projects, including Pack is Here, Before, The Cottage, The Winemaker, and Day by Day. Their multi-award-winning film Group premiered and was celebrated at multiple film festivals as well as screenings, both in person and via Zoom, that were made graciously available to us and our patrons.
Original Cinematic has many exciting projects on the horizon. Their next film, Immersion, has been completed. The award-winning Sweetener is in development, Fetish begins shooting in September, and Encore will begin next spring. Their documentary Women in Conversation is slated for a September release, and we are looking forward to each and every one of them. It is truly an honor to partner with Original Cinematic, and we can't thank them enough for their contribution to our show. And now, back to our regularly scheduled program.
Salutations! Welcome to Pod Mortem. I'm Reneé Hunter-Vasquez, joined as always by my co-host, my husband, and my brother.
Hi, I'm John Paul Vasquez.
Hi, I'm Travis Hunter-Sayapin.
This week, we're recording live from Crystal Lake, discussing the 1984 slasher sequel, Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter. This film was directed by Joseph Zito with the screenplay by Barney Cohen and story by Bruce Hademi-Sakau. With the incredible success of Friday the 13th Part 3, another sequel was inevitable. With the new director and new writers at the helm, the task at hand this time was to bring this iconic franchise to a close in a savagely satisfying way, hence its ultimately misleading title, The Final Chapter. Despite its focus on fleshing out its characters and impressive practical effects, Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter, was not received well by critics. Still, though, it remains a favorite installment for many fans of the franchise. This film was requested to us by friends of the show, Donna Eason, Jasmine, Smelly Poo Poo Head, Haley, Lucy Thane, Megan M., Half Price Horror, and TV Girl. We want to thank each of them for their support as well as this suggestion. So, what did you guys think of Friday the 13th, The Final Chapter, the first time you saw it?
This was a very first-time watch for me. I know someone had said that this is where it kind of picks up, or it's the Jason we're waiting for. And I did enjoy this a little more than I did the other movies. More than 3 for sure. 2 was fine, 1, of course. But this one was a little more, I guess, Jason-y, or we got to see him a little more. I did enjoy this more, like I said, but I will be honest as well. It was still kind of lacking something for me. I'm not really sure what it was that the movie did or didn't do, but there were still times that I kind of sat there and I was like, okay, and again, first time watch, very first impressions. That's just kind of, even at the end of the movie, I was like, all right, yeah. It's Jason.
Right.
Final chapter.
He's gone.
Yeah.
This is the end.
Never coming back?
No.
Yeah, that's it.
I think I can definitely understand that. This was a first-time watch for me as well. We've established pretty concretely
Right.
in the past that this really Friday the 13th is kind of a blind spot for all three of us.
Oh, yeah.
So it took the show, honestly, to get me past watching just the first one.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's been a very interesting experience.
Yeah.
I would say the same as you said, where the first one to me is the best.
Yeah.
And the second one is all right. Third one was not much of a fan.
Nope.
But this one, honestly, would probably be ranked, at least so far, as my favorite sequel we've covered so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that it's kind of the quintessential 80s slasher.
Yeah.
I think that everything, if somebody was like, hey, can you describe an 80s slasher to me? I'd be like, hey, watch Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because every element that you would expect, everything that is somewhat stereotypical about this subgenre is here.
Mm-hmm.
Horny teens, gory set pieces,
Mm-hmm.
nudity,
Yep.
body count,
Mm-hmm.
gruesome killer.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's all here.
Yeah.
And I think that in some ways it is, I don't want to say by the numbers, because it's kind of in the era of still establishing what this even is.
Right, right.
But I think that it is just very formulaic.
Yes.
If you already have this knowledge of this subgenre, going back to look at it,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I imagine at the time it was, of course, a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
And it still is in a lot of ways a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But you already know where everything's going. You know, a lot of characters are just being introduced to be killed.
Yeah.
You know that these people aren't long for the world. But I will say there are attempts at creating characters in this movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
There are some interesting dynamics. There is one character that has a full-on arc and a redemption in a way, which is really funny to me. There are times, especially in an earlier scene, where the dialogue is actually really well written.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
It's really not. And so, I mean, there is more to this. That's why I didn't want to say by the numbers.
Right, right.
Because I think that it seemingly feels like more effort put in certain areas than previous sequels in this franchise.
Right. Well, that, and then I feel like us getting a different Jason every time we get a new movie.
Right.
It's kind of like, okay, what Jason are we going to get next?
And this time he's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I will always miss Baghead Jason.
Right.
That is my favorite Jason. I'm not a fan of the hockey mask. I never have been, never will be. But I feel like this Jason is, again, what you would tell someone as this quintessential 80s slasher villain.
Right.
He is brutal. He is hulking. And he, honestly, I don't know why he's so mad. I really don't. And that's a thing as well. I think that's something that does get to me about this movie.
Yeah.
I don't know why Jason is doing any of this.
Yeah, I asked myself a couple of times that.
Is it simply because it's Crystal Lake and he's still, because there is no really, is there any mention of mention? I know there's a site mention of his mom.
No, I don't think so. But I think it is that. I think it's the site, because that's kind of what they said in part 2 was, don't be fucking around over here.
Period.
Yeah.
He doesn't like it. but we're still going
Right.
to.
He's territorial.
Yeah.
But okay, so we've gone 4 movies without putting up a fence? I mean, what the
Shut it down.
Yeah.
Gordon Ramsay shut it down.
But I think that it's a lot of fun for what it is.
Yeah.
I think that some of the effects are pretty impressive. The music is always great in these Friday the 13th movies. And I just think that it is, you come to Friday the 13th part 4.
Right.
You get what you expect, really.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with you guys. I, kind of went in with open expectations. Part 3 was a little bit of a doozy for me.
Yeah.
So I really didn't know what to expect. There were actors that popped up in this that I was not expecting to see. It was I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
I do think that more care was put into the characters, into the dialogue, into the dynamics between these characters. Is it, Mike Flanagan level? Of course not, but more than I would say any other entry before.
Yeah.
Part 4.
I would say,
excuse me, the final chapter.
Yes.
I
'Cause
feel
it's the
like
last one.
Yeah. 2 had Jenny.
Yes.
but then everybody else I didn't give a shit about.
Right.
Yeah.
It's exactly that. Like you're saying, it's like they really tried everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. You know, I think even going into this, when you meet these people, you know, like you said, T, don't get too attached.
Right.
But I did appreciate that they had some kind of, even if it was a little tropey within their groups, there was personality. And there, you know, I think the actors they do fine in the roles that they're given, you know? I was pleasantly surprised by kind of liking this one, even though I don't know how that sounds. But, you know, I didn't know what to expect. I did have some fun. This one I think I would rewatch. I think, like you said, T, it is very much 80s slasher. And I don't say that disparagingly. I say that as a positive. Like some of these you just want to throw on and watch some shit happen. You know what I mean? And when you have Savini overlooking and doing the effects, it's like it kind of does scratch that itch of just this. We're not overthinking anything. It's just an 80s fucking slasher.
Yeah.
And for part of fourth installment of a franchise, it is better than I was expecting it to be. And I'm not just saying that because some of y'all leave mean comments and reviews when we don't like it. This one actually was, I'll say definitely my favorite one outside of the original.
Yeah.
I agree.
Before we dive in to Crystal Lake, as it were, I do want to talk about the production, as we always do. I got all of my information, and it is a lot of information, from a making of documentary for the final chapter, and also from Crystal Lake Memories, the complete history of Friday the 13th by Peter M. Brackey. Some of the shit in this book, it's like on Real Housewives, okay? And I'll be very brief. When you watch the scene play out and then you go to a confessional and like, it's like, no, we didn't do anything. And then you cut to the confessional and we're totally boning. This Vanderpump Rules reference. But
they're all over the place.
Somebody will get it. It's very much like that, where one person is saying something and then you cut to another person saying something that directly contradicts what the other person said. Mm-hmm. And not in a way of inconsistencies, but in a way of, oh, he's fucking lying. Okay. So like it was, it's a healthy chapter on the final chapter, but it was pretty juicy. Okay. Lots of information and lots of tea. So, when a film is financially successful, what is the next logical step?
A sequel.
That's right. Gold stars for everyone.
Hey.
But there is a caveat with this particular film. The Friday the 13th franchise was a massive success financially, and producer Frank Mancuso Jr. was not bothered at all by the bad critical reviews, because he said that the kind of audience that watches these films is not swayed by negative reviews.
Right.
Which is true. He wasn't even bothered by the letters that they would get decrying the sex and violence. But by this time, it's put forward in the book that it wasn't just angry parents and picky critics that were looking at the franchise and its producers kind of contemptuously. It was other people in the industry too. And that's what Mancuso Jr. did not like. By the time De Palma released Blowout in 1981, and it was read as an obvious swipe at slashers, particularly at this franchise, Mancuso Jr. decided that the fourth Friday the 13th would be the last Friday the 13th. So yes, a sequel, but the last sequel.
Huh.
At this point, Steve Miner is no longer interested in directing. He said he'd essentially already made the same film twice now, with parts 2 and 3, and whether this was the final installment or not, he was ready to move on. When the producers saw Joseph Zito's 1981 film The Prowler, they set their sights on him. Mancuso Jr. did want this to be the last film, but he also wanted it to be the best film. And once he met with Zito, he trusted it in his hands. So Zito and Bruce Hidemi Sakau put a story and an outline together, and the producers loved it. They wanted Zito to write the screenplay and direct the film, despite Zito asserting several times that he was not a writer. He just wanted to direct. But they were insistent because they were like, no, you understand the vision. You need to be the one to write it. So Zito ends up taking this offer and signing the contract, but he hired and paid Barney Cohen to write the screenplay and paid him out of his own salary.
Hey.
It's interesting, too, because Cohen talked a lot about I never met with the producers. It was always me and Zito, and then Zito would meet with the producers. He was like, I think he just wanted complete control over what was going in or what was being taken out. But I'm like, maybe the producers didn't even know about you.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Reading that,
Honestly.
I'm like, maybe it wasn't a control thing.
Zito's like, here's what I came up with.
Yeah.
That's, editorializing maybe, but reading that, I'm like, huh. But Barney Cohen had been writing after school special style shows for CBS when Zito approached him. And Zito said that he wanted Cohen because he figured he knew how to write teens. And he wanted that to be the core of the story. We'll just figure out how to kill them later, is what he said. And I think that was the right move.
Yeah, but that is funny.
Yeah. But it honestly shows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it does. And Cohen got the screenplay written in 2 weeks and then rewritten and edited in another 2 weeks.
And it
Damn.
honestly shows.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So, with an October 1984 release date in mind, they start filming on Halloween, October 31st, 1983. They finished principal photography in January of 1984, but when Frank Mancuso Sr. screened it, he was extremely excited. He didn't want to wait until October. He wanted this to come out earlier, 6 months earlier.
Damn.
When he tells Zito about this, the April deadline that he wanted was only about 6 weeks away. He asked Zito if this was going to be possible, and Zito was like, I think so. But Mancuso Sr. was like, no, it's not. I think so. It's a yes or no. He said that he was opening this film on nearly 1,600 screens, and he needed a yes to know that those screens weren't going to be dark. So Zito assured him that if he could have the editors that he had on The Prowler, then they could make it happen. So Mancuso Sr. is thrilled, but he tells Zito exactly how they're going to accomplish this. Firstly, Mancuso Sr. is going to rent Zito a house in Malibu. Zito is going to move into this house. Frank Mancuso Jr. is going to move into this house. All of the editors and their assistants and their apprentices are going to move into this house. They will have food delivered to them, and no one is leaving that house until it was edited and the final film was ready to be screened.
Huh.
That's a wild way to go about it. It's funny.
Yeah.
It sounds closer to your reality TV thing than I
See?
anticipated.
Yeah, that's voluntary kidnap. It was like, no, we're staying.
Yeah.
We can't leave.
We can't leave.
Yeah.
Zito said that it was madness. There was no digital, anything. So the house is just full of film. He said that they were literally editing 24/7 in shifts, and you could just hear screams coming out of the house all night, all day. The problem was, though, that they were having to clear it scene by scene, sometimes frame by frame with the MPAA, and a lot was left behind. A lot of the length from the kills, a lot of the kills themselves, full entire scenes were lost. But Friday the 13th, the final chapter, opened on time on April 13th, 1984 on 1,594 screens, just like Mancuso Sr. wanted. And the critical reviews were, of course, unkind. But it was another financial success. And it was so popular that even the screenwriter Cohen said that he and his wife couldn't even get tickets on opening night in New York City.
Damn.
Holy shit.
And they went to multiple theaters and they were all sold out.
Okay.
And he was like, oh, this might be a hit, Cohen said. But Jason went out on top, and true to their word, they never made another Friday the 13th ever again. Now, before we stalk this film, we would like to issue a warning for spoilers. Podmortem is a very in-depth podcast, and in thoroughly discussing horror films, we have no choice but to spoil a thing or two. If you don't wish to be spoiled, please go watch the film, then come back and enjoy the show. If you've already seen the film or don't care about spoilers, then let's set up camp. Now, this film relies heavily on having already seen Friday the 13th, Friday the 13th Part 2, and Friday the 13th Part 3. If you haven't, go watch them or listen to episodes 70, 174, and 224 as a refresher. The film begins with the bright moon perched high in the black sky. A cluster of clouds glides its way across its brightness, but we drop down below, where a group of camp counselors huddle around a campfire. Paul Holt, played by John Fury, stoically reasons that he doesn't want to scare anyone, but he's going to give it to him straight about Jason. They all watch him, some of them dipping their marshmallow-tipped sticks into the hungry flames as he shares that Jason's body was never recovered after he drowned. With a piercing note in the score, we get a glimpse of Jason as a young boy, played by Ari Lehman, in the waters of Crystal Lake, his malformed head bobbing against the waves, his arms straight up, grasping desperately.
Previously on Friday the 13th.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
That's all it was. That was my only note. Oh, so last time on Jason.
Right.
It's like that's...
You gotta catch us up.
Yeah. I honestly, especially if they're meaning for this to be the last one,
Yeah.
I like it. Because they're like, this is what, it's like the retrospective at the end of a sitcom.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
When they're looking back at the apartment and then
Yeah.
they turn off the lights. But Cohen had said that they were going to disperse flashbacks throughout the film, but they decided to just do it in a montage at the beginning.
Okay.
I kind of feel like that's the better choice.
Yeah. Oh,
honestly.
yeah. Get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Well, or that.
I didn't mean to agree. I disagree.
Like, yes.
Yeah. No, but I was thinking comparatively to Hell House 3,
Right.
where it's like every 5 seconds
We
there
don't
was
need
one.
that. Yeah, we don't need that.
that.
Back at the campfire, Paul continues that the old timers say he's still out there. We see Enos, the truck driver, played by Rex Everhart, his hands gripping the wheel. He turns to us and asserts, Camp Crystal Lake is jinxed. Crazy Ralph, played by Walt Gorney, our classic harbinger, warns, it's got a death curse.
I miss this character.
I mean, too. I was like, already this is at a deficit because we don't fucking get Crazy Ralph. In the glow of the fire, Paul says that some folks even claim to have seen him in this area. At another time, Steve Christie, played by Peter Brower, trudges along in his bright yellow raincoat. When the beam of a flashlight appears behind the Camp Crystal Lake sign, he questions, friendly, "Hi, what are you doing out in this mess? What are you so happy about?"
Oh, I see.
He takes a step toward us and POV of the flashlight holder, but his flatly curious expression shifts to one of shock and pain when he is struck. Paul says that the girl who survived that night at Camp Blood, that Friday the 13th, she claimed that she saw him. In the safe, pristine whiteness of her hospital room, Alice, played by Adrienne King, questions, her eyes wide and blue. The boy, is he dead too? Alice sits serenely in a boat, floating in the center of the lake after a night of horror. Jason lurches from the water, his face twisted, and he throws his arm over a screaming Alice, ready to pull her down into the lake. Sergeant Tierney, played by Ron Carroll, counters at her bedside. They didn't find any boy. And as we zoom in on the calm waters of Crystal Lake, where maybe just a couple bubbles float up to the surface, Alice realizes, then he's still there. Paul breaks the news that Alice disappeared 2 months later, and we get a flash of Alice in her apartment, startled by a cat, screaming hysterically as she discovers the decomposing and disembodied head of Pamela Voorhees nestled in her fridge. Everyone is hanging on Paul's every word as he tells them that legend has it Jason saw his mother beheaded that night. We go back to that night in jittery memory, where Alice snatches up a machete and runs toward us. The face of Mrs. Pamela Voorhees, played by Betsy Palmer, contorts in shock before Alice screams, swinging the machete against her neck. Paul says that Jason took his revenge. Sandra, played by Marta Kober, is horrified as her entanglement with Jeff, played by Bill Randolph, is interrupted. They are nude in bed, and Jeff is on top of Sandra when a spear is stabbed through his back, impaling them both. The tip of the spear goes through the bed and drips their collective blood onto the floor.
Previously on A Bay of Blood.
Vicky, played by Lauren Marie Taylor, shrieks as lightning flashes, casting her terrified face in blue. She cowers in a corner, raising her arms to shield herself as Jason, played by Steve Dash, advances on her, his eyes staring out in the lone hole in the bag covering his face. He holds a knife high and he brings it down. Ginny, played by Amy Steele, screams and runs away from Jason. But when we cut back to the campfire, she sits next to Paul quietly, stroking the fur of the dog in her lap. Paul says that Jason will continue to seek this revenge if anyone enters this wilderness again. Crazy Ralph stands next to a tree, oblivious to the hands that reach down with barbed wire. It's pulled tight around his throat, and we cut to a body swinging from a tree. Mrs. Voorhees smiles as she reveals to Alice that Jason was her son, and today is his birthday. The montage grows frenzied. We see Scott, played by Russell Todd, get his throat slit, a pitchfork being thrust through the hole in a door as Ginny runs away screaming. Mrs. Voorhees' face lit softly with a flashlight as she commends her son. That's a good boy. Good Jason. Jason, played by Richard Brooker, stands tall in his hockey mask. He brings the machete down on Andy, played by Jeffrey Rogers, slicing him in half during his handstand. He fires a harpoon at us, like in a 3D way. And he slices off the hand of Ali, played by Nick Savage. He bashes a window to grasp at Jenny. Mark, played by Tom McBride, falls off the porch backwards in his wheelchair, a machete stuck in the center of his face as he falls down a flight of long steps. That one was overkill. I think we all agreed on it then, and seeing it again, I'm like, God damn. What? Paul asserts, almost dazed, that Jason is out there. We watch as Jason is hung by his throat in the barn, grunting when his fall comes to a stop. He grunts again when Ginny brings the machete down on his throat, and again when Chris, played by Dana Kimmel, buries an axe in the center of his masked forehead. But still, he thrusts his hands out toward her. Chris screams, no, and backs away from him. Still, he grasps at us, like in a 3D way, before finally collapsing. And we get a shot of him on the ground as Chris breathes desperately. He can't be alive. It cuts to black. A pulsing score builds as Jason's white mask appears in the center of the screen. We get the title in red over the mask, Friday the 13th. And as his customary theme begins to play, the subtitle, The Final Chapter, appears in white behind the mask, sweeping through it in a literal explosion. The first dissipates and the credits appear in white against the black background. The openings.
Yeah.
You can always count on something.
It's an action movie, it's very weird.
Yeah. Massive explosions aside.
Yes.
I did want to talk about the music very quickly.
Okay.
The composer, once again, was Harry Manfredini. And I think once more, he does an amazing job in this film.
Yeah.
In that book, he was saying that this was the most fun that he's ever had making a movie.
Oh,
okay.
I love that.
Yeah.
And he talked about what you had said regarding them all being holed up in a house in Malibu. And he said that he's there working on the music while 5 or so guys are concurrently editing the film. And he said that something that was really interesting to me, because it does sound like a lot of elements from past films are reused. Mm-hmm. He said that not one portion of this music is lifted straight up from one of the previous films. Every single note in this film, every single moment of the score was re-recorded.
Damn.
Or written and recorded as brand new.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And that surprised me. But he had said that... like you said, the difficult part for him is that every single time that they would finish enough to send to the MPAA, it's like these portions needed to be scored to be sent off. And so he said they were reviewing it like one reel at a time. And so it was kind of like a pain in the ass. But he did say it was the most fun he ever had. Though I do find that hard to believe because the disco from part 3 was fantastic.
Yeah.
But the darkness is interrupted by a startlingly loud and bright helicopter. It focuses the beam of its light down into the woods where a cop car sits parked. A man with a flashlight, played by Tom Everett, waves ambulances in. Paramedics and police officers swarm the grounds of Higgins Haven. A covered body is carried out of the house while another is wheeled from the barn. But in the barn, 2 officers in their yellow slickers carefully bag the machete as evidence. We drift down to the ground where Jason Voorhees, played by an uncredited Ted White, still lies. His lifeless body is draped in a white sheet.
Uncredited.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
All right. I didn't know if they were trying to do like what they did with Frankenstein's monster where they're like question mark.
Okay, yeah.
No. So in the documentary, Zito said that he wanted a seasoned stuntman to play Jason. But in the book, they said that Frank Mancuso Jr. saw a scene that Ted White did in Romancing the Stone, where he walks into a room or a building or something and he's silhouetted in the frame. And Mancuso Jr. was like, that's Jason. Find him. At any rate, White was a seasoned stuntman. He'd done stunts for people like Rock Hudson and Clark Gable.
Whoa.
And he said that he doubled for John Wayne for like 40 years.
Damn.
That being said, White was nearly 60 years old. And as Zito pointed out, 2 and sometimes 3 times the age of his co-stars. I think as well that a lot of the other people in this film, this is like their first film.
Mm-hmm.
And this dude, they talked a lot about him having no patience. And it's like, I bet he was not used to working
Oh, yeah.
with this kind of talent and under these circumstances, because there were circumstances. But when they offered White the role, he said that he turned it down. It sat on hold for 6 weeks. And White said in the book, greed took over and he finally accepted, but he never would have done it if not for the money. He said that they also invited him back, I think, for parts 5 and 6, he said, and he told them no.
Wow.
But he had never seen any of the Friday the 13th films before. So he went and he said he rented 2 of them and was like, I'm not doing any of that. This is Jason's last film. He said if Jason is going out, he's going out running. And he do be running.
He does.
This Jason does not move like any other Jason we've met. But I did say that he was uncredited.
Yes.
The following story is according to Ted White in that book. He said that he was called into the producer's office and asked how he wanted his name in the credits. He told them to just put Jason as Jason because he didn't want his name on it. He said that Frank Mancuso Jr. heard him and got upset. And White told Frank Mancuso Jr., and I quote, "Don't say one word to me, you little bastard. It's my name, and if I don't want it on this piece of shit, it's not going to be on it."
That's very surprising to just let him keep working then. I get the stature or whatever, but dude, okay, then you obviously don't want to be here. We'll find someone else.
I think they'd wrapped at this point, but
oh,
I also
dude.
think that during production, I have more stories about Ted White.
That's crazy.
Yeah, because I'm like, it's the 80s. I'm thinking of professional wrestling. There's plenty of big dudes that can fucking get George the Animal Steel on the phone.
Oh, dude, there's a lot
Like,
of
there's
them.
plenty of people.
Hillbilly Jim was a big old dude.
Absolutely. Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Yes! Dude, what the hell?
Well, he claimed to have seen Mancuso Jr. several times after this, but they never spoke to each other again. Mancuso Jr., this is what the housewives confessional shit that I'm telling you. Mancuso Jr., though, said that he had no problem whatsoever with Ted White, and whoever is playing Jason isn't exactly Tom Cruise anyway. So Ted White taking his name off of Final Chapter really doesn't mean anything to anyone but Ted White.
I gotta be honest, he's 100% correct.
Yeah,
It's true, but he shouldn't say it.
no.
I was like, God damn, dude. The blades of the helicopter continue chopping above as the lights from the emergency vehicles pulse into the night. When an ambulance pulls up, a cop, played by Mark Stewart Lane, reports to the paramedics that there are 10 bodies. He directs them to one in the barn. When he's asked what's wrong with the potential patient, he reports back flatly, "He's dead. They're all dead." The paramedics exchange a glance before one mutters, "All dead. Some emergency." Still, they pull up where they're told.
I did like the continuity, picking up right where we left off.
Yeah.
They're even using the same locations that they used for Friday the 13th Part 3.
That's great.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Zito had said that, again, spoiler or whatever, but this being Jason's final film, he kind of knew how it had to end. And so in his mind, the best place to start is exactly where Part 3 left off, with a dead, quote unquote, Jason from that film. In the barn, as they strap Jason's body to the gurney, Vincent, played by Anthony Ponzini, asks another paramedic, is this the guy that's been leaving all the white stuff?
What's that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know.
I thought maybe in the book they would say, well, another thing about Jason that you might not know.
Like, oh, come there's slime on my shit.
Yeah. It's very lonely out in the woods.
But the other paramedic confirms that it is. Last time, he got 7 kids and 3 bikers, but this time, they got him. The first paramedic instructs the third one, Lainey, played by Frankie Hill, to belt Jason in. When she does, his hand falls out from beneath the sheet and dangles limply with its long, yellowed fingers. Lainey jumps back, fearful, but Vincent dismisses this, asking, what's the matter with her? He's dead. I will just say I thought Lainey was going to be our lead.
Same. I felt, especially with where we lead immediately after this,
Right.
I kind of thought this was going to be our major location.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Our major cast of characters.
Yeah.
It's not.
It just felt different to me. I don't know if what I thought at this point, but I was kind of like, okay, so where are we going with this? Because we are putting him on the gurney and we're taking him away.
Yeah.
Like
Yes. But they finally load him into the back of the ambulance, and at the amplified instruction of the helicopter pilot, played by William Irby, they all get moving, leaving Higgins Haven completely dark in the absence of their emergency lights. Savini had said that this opening at the farm or at Higgins Haven was the last thing that they filmed. And he said that Mancuso Jr. was really quiet, and he was like, I just can't believe it's over. And that Tom Savini said that they all really felt like this was the last one.
Okay.
Like it wasn't a cash grabby thing. Like this is literally the end. This was going to be it. And he said that Mancuso Jr. in the book also said that this is his favorite one, period.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
At the hospital, Lainey and Vincent wheel Jason's gurney down the hall, passing a room where a woman, played by Abigail Shelton, sits sobbing and being comforted. We watch from the head of the bed as they continue to push the gurney down the hall in silence. When they reach their destination, they're greeted by the coroner, Axel, played by Bruce Mahler, who chomps on a sandwich. And
I swear to God.
I knew that you were.
You know I love a snacking coroner.
I told you this film was stereotypical.
Bruce Mahler did look a little familiar to me. He is in Police Academy in '84.
Oh.
Really?
He also has a credit for The Perfect Storm in 2000.
Ooh.
Hey.
Yeah.
But when Vincent presents Axel with the clipboard to sign, Axel licks his fingers and sets his sandwich down on the sheet covering the body so that he can oblige. Classic corner behavior.
This is the most
In my book.
unprofessional.
Yeah. You knew it was coming.
Yeah. Lainey looks around uneasily as Vincent asks if this is Axel's last one tonight, but the coroner says that it isn't. There's another one over there, a real cute girl. Vincent asserts, was, but Axel looks over with a shrug. Well, she still is. He winks at Lainey, who does not return the sentiment, and Axel reasons that all you have to do is go over there and take off her pants, but Vincent interrupts him, disgusted. I was like, man, because I love, again, like I said, a coroner that's eating preferably a sandwich, honestly, while he's doing his job, but he ruined everything for me with that. I was like, I really wanted to like you.
This was weird.
Fucking disgusting.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird nobody goes to HR?
Yeah. No shit.
Like, I think he's with the body. Guys?
He's talking about it.
Yeah,
Help,
openly. During his lunch break.
He's still eating the same.
Yes.
Axel rips off the signed copy and hands it to Vincent with another shrug. Lainey waves Axel off, telling him to take care as she and Vincent leave. And we, I don't believe, ever see Lainey or Vincent again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so, and that shocked the hell out of me.
Yeah.
Well, we're here joking with them, getting to know them, being part of their job. They're bringing him in here, and then that's it.
Well, in the when he's winking at her and she's like, ugh, it's very final girl behavior to me.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I literally, first of all, was excited for a black final girl.
Mhm.
I was and she's a paramedic. You know what I mean? I got my hopes up for nothing. But I'm like, is she going to go out to Crystal?
Yeah, like why?
Or is this like a Haddonfield Memorial situation when we're all in the hospital?
Yeah.
And that's where I thought we were going, and that's kind of where it goes.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Momentarily.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Momentarily, yeah. And again, this portion to me feels like a different film almost. I don't know if it was like a narrative decision to kind of do this. I'm getting ahead of myself, but this bait and switch kind of before returning to form, or if it was things that got cut. I don't know what the story is behind that, but the structure of this opening is a little odd for me.
It is, and it did make me think of something else because and if that movie borrowed from this, I'm sure it did it a bunch of times, but the only thing this made me think of was Terrifier 2.
Right. Very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the hallway, Axel approaches Nurse Morgan, played by Lisa Freeman. He announces, "I'm free, doll," but she quips coldly that he's no bargain at twice the price. I was like, all right, I like her. Axel asks what's wrong, and she tells him, not looking up from her work, that she has a headache. For him, she always has a headache. But Axel assures her that he can fix that. He glances around before leaning in and inviting her to meet him in the cold room. He asks her, "What do you say?" Her back is to him, but Morgan grins. We're at the head of Jason's gurney again when we hear her clap back that she's not faking any more orgasms for him. I was surprised because I'm like, you're fucking this guy.
Yeah.
Was anybody else surprised?
What the fuck was that?
I thought this was him like
Shooting a
trying.
shot, yeah.
Yeah.
Not let's pick up.
Let's go back to the cold room. Just as the body under the sheet begins to move, we cut back to Axel and Morgan. He looks her up and down, wondering, "You got the curse?" But Morgan finally turns to look at him with a big smile. "If I do, you're it." Which was funny. But again, curse,
Right.
you know?
Okay.
I know
got
he's
a
talking,
death?
he's,
Yeah.
trying to get it in. But yeah, I thought that was, a death curse.
Yeah. I was like 20 minutes ago, but it's fine.
I just stumbled my way through.
All I wanted to say is this is what I was talking about at the opening where I was like, some of the dialogue is really witty and fun.
It is.
Yeah.
Like this back and forth, I enjoyed a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Later on, in the darkness of the cold room, an aerobics video plays on the TV. A woman in a black one-piece bounces around in a white void, but when Morgan comes into the room calling for Alex, he's not there. She sighs and shakes her head when she spots what's on the TV. She calls out to Alex again, and when he doesn't answer, she reaches forward to turn the channel. It's the only source of light in the room, and we don't see Alex coming when he leaps from the shadows and scares her before she can reach the switch. She snaps at him, calling him the Super Bowl of self-abuse, and she tells him, annoyed, that she just came to watch the news. Axel sits down in front of Jason's covered body as Morgan switches the channel. He whistles at her, inviting her to sit down, mouthing that he's sorry. But the newscaster, played by John Walsh, no, not that John Walsh, is already talking about another chapter in a story that most Crystal Lake residents have prayed over. Morgan sits down next to Axel, but she keeps her eyes on the news as the newscaster reports on a trail of mangled bodies. But the TV suddenly switches back to the aerobics show. We see that Axel has the remote in his hand and he's leaning in to try to kiss Morgan. She tells him that she really did come to watch the news. She gets up, shaking her head, and switches the TV back. I'm also like, you don't get to just turn this on. I need to be cool with that being on the TV.
Isn't it kind of wild that he just brings these tapes to work?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Just has him playing on a loop.
He knows what it is, yeah. Officer Jameson, played by Wayne Grace, says on the news that they're still waiting for confirmation on the body, but he'll answer the question anyway. Yes, the man responsible for the murders in Wessex County this past week is now in the Wessex County Medical Center morgue.
This dude.
Yeah. Officer Jameson, Wayne Grace, does have a credit in Mulholland Drive.
Oh!
Yeah.
You remember he was Bob Brooker, the director.
Yeah.
Yes! does. I knew he looked familiar.
Yeah.
And he also has a credit in Fire in the Sky from 93.
Oh.
Wonderful movie.
That's one we've been talking about for years.
Oh, yeah.
We really should, because
Yeah.
I just remember being traumatized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
But at this news, Morgan is smiling big and lets out a quiet cheer. But Axel pats Jason's covered stomach, alerting him that they're talking about him. Morgan turns to Axel, disgusted, and says that she can't believe him. I don't know why I was like, oh, they know that that's him.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little surprised because they're acting like he's just...
Yeah.
This ain't no regular bitch you have here.
No.
I don't know. I know that obviously to them it's a dead body and they're not going to do any special precautions, but the fact that he's just bopping around, eating his sandwich, trying to get laid on the clock, like I just felt like there would be more, I don't know,
Well, this
maybe
area,
a little more attention.
Yeah.
everybody knows the legend,
Yeah.
Right.
you know? So, yeah, there should be a little more conversation. Like, we got fucking Jason
Voorhees,
Voorhees.
yeah.
Yeah.
But Axel invites her, then shut my mouth. Morgan mouths the invitation with him, smiling, and finally leans in for a kiss. They start to make out next to the dead body of a murderer, and Axel decides, though, that it's still time to pump it up, and he switches back to the aerobics program.
When we came in here, I almost thought Jason was watching that. I was like, oh, he's working out too.
Right.
Morgan stands and unzips her uniform as Axel reclines on the gurney. She lies on top of him and the two continue to kiss, but when Jason's hand once again flops out from the concealment of his sheet, it smacks Morgan's leg. She screams and jumps up, prompting Axel to stand as well, dramatically spinning and crying out, Jesus Christmas, holy Jesus, goddamn, holy Jesus jumping Christmas shit. I was like, damn.
And it didn't even touch him.
No.
And I'm like, Jason really likes this move because this is the second time he's done this.
Yeah. Yeah.
In the two scenes that he's done. But as Axel yells, Morgan stands cowering by the door, her hands clasped over her unzipped uniform. She throws her hands down, demanding Axel to get that sucker in the icebox before realizing, I must be nuts. She sees that her zipper is still down and zips her uniform back up before bidding Axel goodnight and throwing the doors open. When he asks where she's going, she yells at him that she's going crazy.
Another great line.
Yeah.
Why isn't he in the icebox? He's fucking decomposing.
I feel as we speak,
yeah.
it feels like Axel has cultivated what he likes in this room.
Yeah,
He likes
that's true.
the body on the gurney. He likes the
Aerobics.
pump it
Yeah.
up with Sue on the TV.
Yeah.
I don't think she should go back in there.
No.
Man, you're probably right. He probably set this shit up and was like, hey, go meet me back there.
He did. He literally said, meet me in the cold room.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Put the... he's gross. I don't like this Axel guy. Hopefully he's not in this for much longer. Morgan is visibly annoyed when she steps into the storage room with her clipboard. She starts to take inventory, but when she checks out a higher shelf and knocks down a couple glass vials, they shatter on the floor. She cries out, shit, before lowering to the ground and picking up the mess.
A couple glass vials.
A couple glass vials. Meanwhile, Axel is sliding Jason into the drawer in the morgue like Morgan demanded. And in the darkness of the coldness of the drawer, we see a small puff of air rise up from the body. But Axel sits back down in front of the TV, unbothered, as the women on the TV bounce their black leotard-clad asses in unison. He greets them with a smile and thanks them for waiting. He stirs his coffee as he watches, but when he goes to take a sip, he spills it on himself. Axel leans forward to set his cup down, but when he settles back into his chair, Jason is behind him. The score goes frenzied as Jason brings a hacksaw down and slices Axel's throat. One of the women on the screen peers obliviously during her workout as Jason twists Axel's head around, breaking his neck.
That's crazy how quick the horny activated Jason. Like
Yeah.
he smelled
That's
it and he's like, oh,
He doesn't like that.
Yeah.
Dude, Axel is so distracted that he doesn't hear the fucking drawer open.
Yeah.
Jason slide out, pick up an axe. Like, I mean, not an axe.
A hacksaw.
A hacksaw.
Yeah.
He's like, thanks, ladies.
Yeah.
You'd hear that.
You gotta pump it up. That's all he's thinking.
He's got it turned
Oh,
up.
he's swelling.
Oh,
no.
God. Decorum.
But Zito had said that he wanted to delay Jason's resurrection for as long as he possibly could because he knew that the audience was wanting it and waiting on it. And if he made them wait, they would kind of be complicit in Jason finally coming back in this really brutal way. I thought that was interesting.
It is. I mean, they waited a whole 8 minutes.
Yeah.
He said as long as they could.
Mm-hmm.
But in the storage room, Morgan is still cleaning her mess when the lights go off. Without even turning around, she yells at Axel to get lost because she's had more than enough of him for one night. When the lights don't come back on, she stands, turning angrily and inviting Axel to read her lips. Leave me alone. But the statement is cut off by Jason's hand, gripping her throat and lifting her into the air. Morgan screams as Jason pushes her against the wall and her shaking feet leave the ground. Jason stabs Morgan in the chest, right through her white uniform, and he brings the scalpel down roughly, slicing down her torso.
Now, this, to me, points a lot to what Nay said earlier about the MPAA.
Mm-hmm.
Because this ends so abruptly, it was jarring.
Yeah. Tom Savini had even said that some of the kills and some of the violence is cut down so much that it's almost subliminal. Like your brain is filling it in because they left you so little. Because there's one kill that they were not wanting to compromise on at all.
Mm-hmm.
So everything else got shaved down a lot.
Okay. Because it seemed like there was going to be some kind of organs.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And this was cool. This looked cool.
Yeah,
it
it
did.
did.
And then I'm watching and I'm like, so both of them are dead already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was shocking to me.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
And the other hospital staff that we met earlier, they don't discover this. They don't there's nothing about them at all anymore.
No, this part's over.
Yeah.
You said Haddonfield, man.
The truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all gone.
They're in the hot tub.
Yeah.
But according to Tom Savini, there were a couple things that went wrong here with this gag. Firstly, he said that when Morgan was lifted up against the wall, she was stabbed in the head by a pin in her hat, and she started screaming for real.
Oh.
Then they had a blood-filled tubing wrapped around her thigh so that they can get a shot of blood running down and onto the floor. But the tubing broke and the blood came pouring out like pee, and the crew could not stop laughing. So they just settled for just blood being on the floor.
Sure.
Fuck it. But since we have cracked the Savini seal, so to speak, I would like to talk a little bit about how he became involved with the project, because it wasn't originally him.
Oh.
Before he came on board, it was Greg Canham. Incredibly talented. We've talked about him. He's done so much. We did talk about him on Thinner.
Yeah.
And he did a lot. Incredible fucking magic on Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yes.
He would go on to win Academy Awards, but on this film, he ended up leaving due to, quote, personality differences.
Oh.
So this is when Zito turned to Savini, and Savini, under the impression that this, again, is Jason's last film, saw it fitting that he would be the one to end it when he was the one that gave birth to him.
True.
Okay. Yeah.
So he stepped in with the team, who included other people we have talked extensively about, even as recently as last week. Alec Guinness, Kevin Yeager, John Vulich, names that we've said over and over and over.
Yeah.
But the effects work is fantastic. And interestingly, too, Savini said that he has a clause in his contract where he is the one who gets to direct his own effects.
Good.
He said that
yeah.
it's all a magic trick and he's the magician pulling it off. So it needs to be him. I'm like, I love that.
That's good shit, though.
Mm-hmm. I'd say he's earned it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. But we abruptly cut to two women jogging outside. Trish Jarvis and her mother, Mrs. Jarvis, played by Kimberly Beck and Joan Freeman.
Kimberly Beck, Trish, she was in The Big Blue in 88.
Okay. They talked about, or Kimberly Beck talked in the book about her casting. She said that she'd been acting since she was 2 years old. She moved to Australia at 12, and her stepfather was Tommy Leonetti, who she called the Johnny Carson of Australia.
Oh.
She said that they released a song together, and it was #1 for 26 weeks. And
shit.
when she came back to the States at 15, she had a contract with Universal and was working steadily. She did soaps. So to hear her describe it, she was very much on top, very successful. And then she started going through a very rough time. She had a divorce and was left with no money, she said. And she was struggling when they were casting for the final chapter. She called these types of movies not even B movies, but C movies, and that she never watched them or wanted to watch them. She never even watched this film. She never watched any of the Friday the 13th. But she said that her more successful friends asked why she even took this. And they said that they don't understand what it means to have to not be picky and do what you have to do to support yourself. That she had to fight for this role, and she auditioned multiple times and was lucky to get it. And she was proud of herself for it. But I'm like, you're okay.
Wow.
Yeah, that was a little odd. You kind of sounded like you were
above this.
Yeah.
Well, it's like I fought to be in this piece of shit.
Yeah.
I was surprised how candid a lot of that book. I mean, they're just being honest.
right.
And so I guess I appreciate her not being like, oh, well, I felt that way at first, but it's like, no, she's like, look, I know.
Yeah.
I was on top. I was no longer on top. I did this.
And I will never watch this film.
I was like, oh my
It's crazy.
It is.
But as the tense score dies away and they jog along the wooded path, Trish tells her mom that she was talking to her dad. She says that he's lonely and he asked her to come visit him. Mrs. Jarvis replies snidely, "Did he tell you to take a number?" And her daughter replies that he didn't, but he did ask about her. Mrs. Jarvis smiles at this and decides that Trish really should go see her father. Trish agrees as we peer down at them ominously from a ledge, and Mrs. Jarvis reasons that he could stand a visit. And when she asks her daughter what she thinks, Trish tells her, "I think you're getting horny, Mom."
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah, what?
They talked a lot about this familial dynamic of the Jarvises, and that how big of a factor this transitional period of dealing with this divorce and wanting your parents to get back together and blah blah blah, how it fed into the story and stuff. And I feel like we get a couple lines about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it does pop up like you're saying.
It does.
Yeah.
And it gives Trish some motivations. It does not explain that line that we just heard.
No, not at all. No.
But, give people something to do.
Yeah. But we quickly cut to the game Zaxxon being played on the TV. We pan out when Mrs. Jarvis warns her son to turn it down. We find Tommy Jarvis, played by Corey Feldman, donning a gray alien mask with bulbous black eyes.
Corey Feldman.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about him in The Lost Boys, and it's fucking Corey Feldman.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, the dude, he's been there. I watched the guy growing up. I'm sure you guys did. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He said that he was a huge fan of Halloween.
Oh.
And he thought he was auditioning for a Halloween film.
Oh.
When he learned that it was Friday the 13th, he had never even seen one. So he rented the 3D one because he's 11 or 12.
Yeah.
He said he'd been wanting to see it anyway because it was 3D, but he was like, oh, this is cool. But he said that they were worried he was too small for something that we see him do later. But he assured them that he could act bigger, is what he said.
Fair enough.
I think he does good. He's little baby Corey Feldman. He does fine. But he said that this was the same year that Gremlins came out.
Yeah.
So this was a really exciting summer for him.
I bet.
Top of the world.
Yeah.
But he turns to his mother, protesting that he got 98,000. Mrs. Jarvis asks how many robots is that, and Tommy tells her in a whine, 35. At the sound of an explosion in the game, Tommy turns back, frustrated. Raising her voice over the noise, his mom invites him to go kill a couple more up in his room. Trish enters, and we follow her up the stairs as her brother laments that he can't. He needs a bypass patch cord. As she goes up, we linger on Mrs. Jarvis in the kitchen, offering that maybe Tommy can get one in town. Trish can drive him. When Tommy walks into the kitchen, she snaps at him to get a haircut. Tommy could be bald for all we know with the red hat perched on top of his alien mask, but he concedes. Oh, Ma. He pulls the mask off, wondering if he actually needs to get a haircut, but Mrs. Jarvis has moved on. That's an interesting line in retrospect.
Yeah.
I did think that. I was like, oh shit, this alien's a kid.
Dude, I literally thought for a moment, I was like, well, they've retreated to the woods to raise this extraterrestrial in peace. And then he takes the mask off. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
all right.
That was fooled.
It's a different film.
It is cool though, this mask.
It is.
Really cool.
Yeah.
I love how he just accepted.
I was like, yeah, it's cool, dude.
Wow.
You know, what am I going to say?
Yeah, it's fucking the 80s.
Yeah,
It's okay.
dude, E.T. came out 2 years ago. Everyone's
Mac
capitalizing.
and memes.
Yeah, dude.
Not Mac and me.
I mean, it's just as good.
Yeah.
To raise him in peace.
Well, yeah, because you can't around city folk.
Yeah.
They're too nosy
It
and
makes
dumb.
sense.
Yeah, they're like, what is that? Like, we can't do this
You
anymore.
see, Roger couldn't go anywhere.
No, dude.
He needed a disguise.
Yes.
But she compliments the mask that he's wearing and commends that he's getting pretty terrific at making those. Tommy thanks her, but corrects that he just customized it. So I did want to point out that Tommy's hobby and the fact that he is named Tommy is a nod to Tom Savini.
I was going to ask.
Okay.
Yeah. And Corey Feldman said that it was an honor to be able to work with him. But yeah, it was totally like a love letter to Tom Savini.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And I like the fact that Mrs. Jarvis is supportive of it.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Tommy slides his glasses on and sits at the counter across from his mom. When she asks him where Gordon is, Tommy tells her that he went out. Mrs. Jarvis points out that someone left the front door open. When Tommy counters that they're in the country, she asks him, what would happen if some psycho wandered in? Trish comes back in, proposing that Tommy would probably just challenge the psycho to a game of Zaxxon. She gets herself some lemonade and asks her mom if she heard about the house next door. Mrs. Jarvis has. It's rented by some kids. When Tommy wonders how many, Mrs. Jarvis says that there's 6 of them, and Trish reasons that it'll be nice to have some company. We cut to the 6 friends, driving down the road and singing discordantly. In the back row, Ted, played by Lawrence Monason, is in disbelief. You broke up with B.J. Betty? Running his hand through his hair, Jimmy Mortimer, played by Crispin Glover, confirms this hesitantly, but warns Ted to lighten up on her because she's all right.
Lawrence Monason, he was in The Last American Virgin in 82 and in Mask in 85.
Oh.
Yeah. And Crispin Glover.
Crispin Glover.
I know him from Willard in 03.
Right.
He also has a credit in Hot Tub Time Machine from 2010, The Donner Party in 09, and Beowulf in 07.
Ooh.
Wasn't he also in Back to the Future?
That's right, he was.
I've never seen it. I just remember there was like a lawsuit about the second one because they were trying to use like his face or something.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
And he's like, you're not going to fucking use that.
Well, good for him.
Yeah.
I was really shocked to see him and Corey Feldman. I was like, what?
Yeah.
There is a clip of this that I've seen because
Yes.
it's funny. And I was like, oh, that's this. But yeah, I was really shocked to just cut to this dude sitting in the back of this car.
Like it's not Crispin Glover.
Yeah.
But Ted takes off his sunglasses and chuckles bitterly. I'll say she's all right. He informs Jimmy that he should have treated her right. That girl wanted to be treated right. But Jimmy insists that he did. He did treat her right. That's what's driving him so crazy. He details that first he would call her and she'd take the calls, but then get off the phone because she had something to do. But then she wouldn't take his calls at all. He wonders what the fuck happened. Ted offers to put it in the old computer because the computer don't lie. He mimes typing on a computer and ponders over the results. Jimmy's like, what? I'm like, dude, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not a real computer.
That was a case of beer
Yes.
that he's currently
Typing away on.
I gotta be honest though, the computer clacking sounds, I was like, is there a fucking computer?
Who added that?
I believed it for a second. I was like, well, let's see what it prints out.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Ted delivers the bad news with a shrug. It says You're a dead fuck, a lousy lay, a dead pecker. Jimmy does not take the news well, but Ted reminds him that he didn't say it, the computer did. When Jimmy points out that there is no computer, Ted adds that there's no Betty either.
He thought he ate with that one.
Yeah.
He did a little bit.
I don't think so. I think he's still starving.
Yeah. It wasn't that great.
It wasn't.
It was okay. Yeah. It was okay, but it was like,
We'll let you have this one.
yeah.
A couple crumbs. But it's enough for Jimmy to accept his fate. Then I'm a dead fuck. And Ted says again, computer, don't lie. Jimmy covers his face and sighs deeply, admitting, God, I'm horny. I'm like, well, there's a lady next door.
Yeah, no. I do feel like right now, I think the movie's trying to tell me something.
Maybe they're horny.
Yeah.
Right.
Lawrence Moneson said that he and Crispin Glover worked on their characters a lot together. All of this, the consulting the computer and the dead fuck gag that we hear more times in the film, was improv'd by them, and they brought it to Zito. Like, they thought of it and brought it to him, and Zito made Cohen include it in the screenplay. Cohen was not happy about it, and in fact said he was forced and he hated it.
Okay. Well, it literally becomes his entire thing.
It does.
Yeah, it does.
So-
Yeah.
We cut to a cemetery on the side of the road. Most of the headstones are covered by the overgrown foliage, but one is ahead of them and clear. And with the sun starting to set now, the driver, Paul, played by Clyde Hayes, slows the car to a stop. His girlfriend, Samantha, played by Judy Aronson, tugs on his sleeve from the back seat and asks where they are now.
Judy Aronson, she does have a credit on Weird Science from 85.
Okay.
She was also an American Ninja in 85.
Okay. She had said that this was her first film. And before doing this, she had been offered 2 leading roles. She turned down one and accepted one because she felt that it was a potentially Academy Award winning project.
Okay.
A week into rehearsals, the producer asked if she would change her last name.
Oh.
The role she had was for a Hispanic person, and she was not Hispanic. But if she had a name that sounded like it, maybe people would think she was.
Oh.
What?
She said, absolutely not.
Good.
And she
Yeah.
left. I was like, are you fucking kidding? Again, this is all in that book. But she said no, and she left. So she went back to that first job, but the part had already been recast and it was gone. So she went from having 2 major offers to 0. And that's when this fell into her lap. And she was just excited to make her first movie. So a lot of the people in the book were like, I didn't want to. But she was like, I was game. I was stoked.
Yeah.
She just wanted to make a movie.
That's good. I can respect that.
Yeah.
I think, too, even if it was something that, like, because I know a lot of them are saying they didn't want to do this or they didn't have fun.
Yeah.
I feel like even if it was something that I wasn't familiar with, just getting, like, a quick rundown of, hey, what are we doing here? What's going on at the background of this movie? And somebody saying, oh, no, I'm totally game. This has got to be fun.
Yeah.
Even if it's a C movie or whatever you want to think it is, we're going to have fun.
But I think all 3 of us are in the mind of loving this genre, good, bad, and ugly. You know what I mean? A lot of people do not feel that way, or they're not versed in it, or whatever.
Yeah.
But
I'd be like, hell yeah, Jason can kill me. That's not even my fucking franchise.
Yeah,
I would
fine.
love for
Yeah,
Jason to
that's
kill
fine.
me.
it's legacy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and people will want to meet you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got fucking killed by Jason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would tell everybody that.
And if it's
the
a really
first-
cool kill.
Yeah. That's the first thing they would learn after my name.
Uh-huh. And sometimes
I've been-
before.
Yeah.
I've been killed in a Friday the 13th. Oh, my name's Reneé.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's your middle name now.
Part 4. Part 4.
This is the timestamp. But Paul admits with a chuckle when Samantha asks where they are. Lost. From the passenger seat, Doug, played by Peter Barton, looks over the map and agrees. We are lost.
Peter Barton, he does have a credit in Hell Night from 81.
Yes. Similarly to what we were just talking about. Peter Barton said that because he did The Powers of Matthew Starr, he had been on the cover of Tiger Beat and 16 magazine, but his opportunities were completely drying up and he was about to quit acting. He said when he was offered Hell Night with Linda Blair,
Yeah.
He did not want to do it and had to get drunk to even agree and accept it. And he certainly did not want to do Friday the 13th. But when he was on The Powers of Matthew Starr, one of his co-stars was Amy Steele.
Oh.
And Amy Steele was like, no, you should totally do it. And that's the only reason that he did.
Yeah. That's crazy. On Tiger Beat, he was fucking...
On the cover!
Yeah.
That's some kind of nature and wildlife magazine?
Yes. It's an offshoot of National Geographic.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
But Samantha mutters that it's kind of creepy, huh? But the feeling is written all over the face of Sarah, played by Barbara Howard, who sits next to her, peering pensively out of the window. Barbara Howard was trained in classical theater, and she did not want to take this.
Yep. I thought she might. Thought she'd have that kind of an attitude. I swear it's wild for everybody to kind of have the same story.
Yeah. But she said that her agent was like, it's paramount. Like, don't be stupid.
Yeah.
And so she did. But Sarah looks at that tombstone, and we get a good look at the inscription now. Pamela Voorhees, 1930 to 1979, at rest. She agrees with Samantha with a breathless, yeah.
I think it's wonderful that throughout all of this confusing history of Jason Voorhees of having drowned and then also living in the woods for maybe 20 plus years, that he paid for this tombstone.
Yeah, well.
That's very thoughtful.
He's a good son. But I was surprised and I was like, is that true? Pamela Voorhees did not have a first name until this tombstone.
No shit.
Even Betsy Palmer was like, that's how I learned my name, was from watching the final chapter.
Mrs. Voorhees.
Yes.
That's
so
right.
Funny.
It's so ingrained in my head that that's her name.
Yeah.
I was like, is that true? It's true.
And I think they just straight up said Jason's mother, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Isn't
that's
that wild?
Yeah.
Still consulting the map, Doug thinks that he's got it figured out. They just need to go straight ahead for 2 miles and then take a right. Paul starts the car and drives away slowly, leaving us to linger on Pamela Voorhees' resting place as the ominous score climbs higher. Further up the road, a hitchhiker played by Bonnie Hellman spots them coming. She stands and grabs her sign as she hurries to the side of the road. She holds the sign up tall, its rainbow sentiment reading, Canada and love. Samantha proposes that they pick her up, but Paul just offers a small wave, reasoning that they've got nowhere to put her. But as they pass her, Ted leans out the back window crying out, "Hey, honey, you got a sister? Rough, rough." Rightfully so, the hitchhiker turns her sign around, revealing a less hopeful and less colorful message. Fuck you.
She came prepared.
Yeah. She trudges back to where she was sitting in the grass with her bags. She takes a banana out of her things and starts to eat, but her chewing ceases when she hears the distinct crack of a twig. Jason steps out of nowhere, hulking as he grabs a handful of the hitchhiker's hair and thrusts the blade of a knife through her throat. As blood pours down, the hitchhiker squeezes the banana until it slumps forward, falling from its peel.
At least she was trying to eat the banana the right way. Not like dude in the basement on Parasite. He was like mashing it and then...
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
It's not pudding. What are you
No.
He
Well,
was
we're making
not good.
pudding.
Yeah, gotcha.
You make the sandwich in your mouth.
Uh-huh. This is when I kind of realized, I was like, okay, this is one of those body count films I've heard so much about.
Yeah.
Because she's on screen for not even a minute, I don't think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bonnie Hellman said that she knew the casting directors and they called to see if she was interested in doing this. Her agents told her not to because she didn't have any lines and it was a small part. But she's like, this is a major feature film.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's right.
Yeah.
She met with Zito, who told her the scene, and she pantomimed hitchhiking and then got on the ground and started writhing around and pretending to die, and she got the role.
Okay.
But as for the kill, Zito said that they'd already done a knife through the throat before, so they wanted to do something different, and he added a banana.
Yeah, because not much has changed.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
All right. I mean, there's a banana.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. She said that she never even met Ted White because Jason isn't fully visible. It's Tom Savini standing in for him.
Oh, wow.
So he tells her, this is a real knife. I promise that you won't get hurt. Just don't fight me and let me put your head where it needs to go. So she had a track around her neck with the steel blade in it and a tube for squirting out the blood, and then a fake neck over it that she said took hours to apply. But she said that there's like 3 people behind the sleeping bags and all her stuff helping operate everything.
Okay.
But it's Tom Savini that grabs her hair. It's him that brings them. That's Tom Savini doing it.
What's funny is my thought, I swear to you, when we see her sit down, I was like, how the fuck did you get out there with all that shit?
It's so much.
Right, it is.
But that's why.
Gotta hide the crew.
Yeah.
You gotta hide 3 adult humans behind it. But back at the Jarvis house, Tommy is helping to set the table with plates of food. Trish comes in with the complaint that she thought they were having pizza. Mrs. Jarvis confirms this, but points out that they have a fridge full of leftovers. It's like, dude, tell me before.
Yeah.
I have my mouth set on pizza.
Mm-hmm.
She looks up at her sulking daughter and points out that she's not smiling. Is Trish not in the mood for her tuna salad? With her back to her mother, Trish grimaces as she pours herself a drink, but Mrs. Jarvis admits that she's not in the mood for it either.
Sometimes you don't want to cook?
Yeah. But she's in the mood for... She and Trish lock eyes and Tommy realizes what's happening, but it's too late to stop it. What Mrs. Jarvis is in the mood for is a Jarvis sandwich. Both she and Trish throw their arms around Tommy, trapping him in a sandwich, laughing as he protests. But outside in the dark of the night, the friends finally pull up to their house. At the Jarvises, Tommy is only able to break free when he and Trish hear someone at the door. He rushes to it and throws it open to find their dog, Gordon. Gordon stands as Tommy pets him, asking where he's been. Does he have a girlfriend or something? Mrs. Jarvis calls out to Tommy to close the door, and with a couple quick barks, Gordon hurries into the house. Tommy tells his dog that they'll talk later, but before he can close the door, something catches his eye. The friends are getting out of their car and unloading cases of beer. Jimmy tells Ted, "See, what did I tell you?" Ted recalls Jimmy telling him that he was horny, but that's not what Jimmy means. He realizes that a guy can have a good time without having girls all about, but Ted protests that that's a sin. He calls Jimmy a dead fuck again, but Jimmy objects timidly that he wants Ted to stop calling him that. Mrs. Jarvis watches from her window as Trish, Tommy, and Gordon go over to meet their new neighbors.
I get it. We're horny. Like, I get it now. Right now. That's how I feel, movie. Okay. Jesus
I
Christ.
get it.
It's like, that's who these guys are.
Period.
That's it.
Samantha pets Gordon while Trish makes the introduction, and Mrs. Jarvis finally pulls herself away from the window, but the look of trepidation doesn't leave her face.
Just very quickly about these 2 houses.
Yeah.
The production designer of the film was a guy called Shelton H. Bishop, and this was actually the only film that he ever worked on.
Oh.
Wow.
But in that documentary, they were talking about how it was always the intention of having these 2 houses within sight of each other to have the action very localized between this very small area.
Yeah.
And interestingly, the Jarvis house is an actual house that is in Topanga Canyon.
Oh.
Like, they just used a real house, exteriors and interiors.
Damn.
Okay.
They did say, a little spoiler alert or whatever, but they did put some false doors.
Yeah. Hopefully windows as well.
Yeah, windows and walls. But the interesting thing that really shocked me is the teen party house that's being rented.
Yeah.
Built from scratch.
Really?
Wow.
Yes, for this production. And it was kind of upsetting because the way that they were talking about it was they knew that they were going to have to build it after they found the Jarvis house and knew how much they loved it. And they're like, well, there's nothing across the way, so we'll just build a brand new house.
Right.
And so they're like, well, we can make it anything that we want, really, and make it so easy to shoot in, so wide open, so we can maneuver the camera.
Yeah.
And they were super excited, and they take it to Paramount, and they're like, you do not have that kind of money. So they're like, okay, we'll make it smaller. And as it goes on and as they start building it, the house and its dimensions just keep getting smaller and smaller because of the budget.
Right.
And so it didn't really end up being exactly what they wanted, but I honestly, this like kind of gothic style of the, I thought that it was a legitimate house that they also found in this area.
Yeah.
And to learn that they built it completely from scratch is very impressive.
Very.
Yeah, I'll be honest. To me, it looks like not a neighborhood, but like, oh, you guys live out here.
Yeah.
Like 2 houses just there.
It looks realistic.
Yeah.
And I think it's cool that they chose to do that instead of it like the Jarvises are walking off their property and then we cut to them walking onto the other part. Like, it's cool that these really are right next to each other.
Yeah.
The director was kind of annoyed because he said that a major point of the script was to have this interplay between these 2 locations. And he's like, you really only get it like 2 or 3 times the whole film.
Yeah, but those times are good.
Yeah,
They are.
And it's fine.
Yeah. But later at the house, Sarah brushes her hair in the bathroom and admits to Samantha that she doesn't know how she does it. Samantha doesn't know how Sarah doesn't, but Sarah clarifies. Samantha does it with everybody, but Samantha says that she doesn't. I mean, she does it with Paul. Sarah's like, really? Samantha giggles and tells her friends that guys lie about it all the time. They say it about everybody, but Sarah points out that they don't say anything about her. Looking down nervously at the hairbrush in her hands, she stammers that she doesn't have... And Samantha finishes the sentence for her in good humor. Have what? A reputation? Samantha muses that she got hers in 6th grade. Sarah wonders what Paul thinks, but Samantha says that Paul thinks she's great in bed, so that's where she keeps him. She giggles, but this makes Sarah question, what are the sleeping arrangements around here? Samantha says that she and Paul will be at the bedroom at the end of the hall, so Sarah and Doug can sleep next door. Visibly uncomfortable, Sarah asks again, really? But Samantha assures her friend that she has nothing to worry about. They're bunk beds. But this doesn't seem to do much to allay Sarah's fears. And it wouldn't mine either. We're still in the same room.
Yeah.
Back at the Jarvis house, Mrs. Jarvis sits on the couch with her daughter. She reads the newspaper while Trish reads a book. And when Trish announces that she's going to bed, her mother reminds her, don't forget, 6 a.m. And they finish together, once around the lake. She hugs her mom goodnight and goes off to bed. Mrs. Jarvis looks back down at the paper, the headline splashed across the front reading in bold, Mass Murderer's Body Missing.
Okay. That about sums it up.
Yeah.
She looks at this uneasily.
Well, yeah.
But it's like, he killed at least 2 people on his way up.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
We should be talking more about this. In Tommy's room, when he can't fall asleep, he opens his eyes and happens to catch Samantha across the way, changing in front of her window. When she takes off her pants, he sits up, smiling and watching, and he lets out an excited squeal into his pillow when she goes to take off her shirt. But before she can take it off, Paul comes over, shirtless. Samantha turns to him and takes her shirt off as the 2 embrace and kiss. Tommy is hopping around excitedly on his bed, muffling his screams with his pillow as the couple continue to make out. He sits up to properly watch them, but when his doorknob begins to turn, he flattens himself on the bed and pretends to be asleep.
How's the peeping, Tommy?
Perfect.
I when he started turning into a werewolf, I was like, this is a bit much.
What the fuck was going on?
Yeah. It's like a cartoon. Steam's coming out of his ears.
Like, thank God his mom's about to come in here. Gotta put a stop to this. Mrs. Jarvis enters the room and tucks Tommy in, but she looks up and sees Samantha and Paul standing in their window, half nude and still kissing. She shoots a knowing grin at her faux slumbering son and crosses the room to close his shade. She gives him a kiss on the head and leaves the room. And as soon as the door closes, Tommy opens his eyes and looks toward the window. He's like, God damn.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't have been hooting it up.
Pushes his snout back.
Rolls up his tongue.
Puts his eyes back in his head.
The next morning, the friends take a walk through the woods. Ted has his headphones on, and Jimmy has to repeat himself when he says that he thinks he should give Betty a call. Ted counters that calling Betty is definitely a dead fuck thing to do. He says this loudly over the sound of his music, prompting Sarah and Samantha to turn around and look at them. He slides his headphones off of his ears and levels with his friend. The first rule of love is you never get rejected by the same girl twice. It's useless. If you're going to make a fool out of yourself, you should always do it with someone new. When Jimmy points out that he doesn't know anyone new, Ted reasons that sex is a great way to meet them. What do we know about these guys again?
Yeah.
They're horny. Right,
Yes,
right.
yes.
That's about it.
As if on cue, two twins come rushing toward them on bikes. Tina and Terry, played by Camilla Moore and Carrie Moore, apologize to them, wearing matching blue shorts and pink off-the-shoulder tops. Ted and Jimmy push their way to the front of the pack, and Jimmy asks if they live around here. So Camilla Moore came in to audition for the role of Samantha, but she's literally in the middle of auditioning when they're looking over her resume and they're like, wait, you're a twin? So she brings her sister in, who wasn't super interested, but she had taken some acting classes, and they had her literally read one line before being like, fantastic. She said that they were doublemint twins, and this happened a lot. When one person came in for something, they were like, is your sister here? Can you bring your sister in? So them being twins was kind of like their thing. Mm-hmm. And Carrie Moore said in the documentary that Tina was the only character with any purpose or substance, and she didn't really feel like she needed to be there at all as Terry.
Yeah.
And if you think about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was thinking about the story and everything.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's funny too, because they were both like, we're supposed to be these sexy twins. Why the fuck did they dress us like that? Like they were cracking me up. Like it was really funny. They're like, look at our hair. Like it was really funny. It makes me think too, this kind of like these twins being here when maybe they both didn't need to be. Zito had said that when he was talking to, I guess, Mancuso Jr., that he said he chalked it up to his own arrogance, that he was just throwing shit out. And he's like, what if a lot of the film happens at night? And he was like, okay, what if it happens in the rain? What if there's a dog? What if we have a kid? What if there's twins? Like he was just throwing shit out that is notoriously difficult to film. Not the twins, but like working with a child, working with a dog, working in the rain. And they're filming this during the winter. Everybody said it was freezing, and rain is a big component as this goes on. But he was like that he was just throwing shit out, and Mancuso Jr. was just telling him yes to everything. So maybe that was when she auditioned. They were like, oh, we can put twins in this.
Yeah.
Well, in all fairness, I mean, you have this group of teens that are going to the second house.
Right.
That feels like its own self-contained slasher film there.
Yes.
And then you have this family in the other house that also feels like a disconnected thing going on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see it kind of being just throwing a lot of things in the wall, and it's like, and then the kid's also Tom Savini, you know? It's like, so it does feel like a lot of things that are just like, okay, well, we got to figure out a way to put this all together.
Yeah. And he said it was his own arrogance that he was like, let's see how much we can, like if he'll tell me no, basically.
Well, hold on. I want to see the Tom Savini kid, though. Yeah.
That's a cool idea.
Yeah, we got the twins, but I want the Tom Savini kid.
We'll see. We'll see. But Paul asks the twins how far it is to Crystal Point. The twins tell them that that's where they're going too, and they warn that it's a long walk. But Ted boasts that they can take it. Sarah can't, though. She says she's going back to get the car. She splits off from the group, and when Doug asks if she wants some company, she politely declines. She'll just meet them there. When Paul and Samantha press forward, the twins follow with their bikes, smiling and whispering. They're cute. Jimmy and Ted follow them with dopey grins, and Ted does the math. 2 of them. Count them. 1, 2. And Jimmy agrees. And 2 of us.
Well, I mean...
The math is mathing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doug shoots one more glance over his shoulder where Sarah went off on her own before following his friends.
The way that characters have just been eating it, I thought Sarah's dead.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
And the trail on the way back looks a lot darker now that Sarah is alone, and she looks around nervous and fearful. The wind makes the leaves rustle, blending in with the subtle whisper of Jason's theme. When she runs into something, Sarah cries out, but it's only the jutting and broken branch of a tree. She gathers herself and keeps going.
It's like, why did you park in the scraggly woods?
Yeah, where the hell did you park?
I don't
Literally.
understand.
And I don't care. You're not going by yourself.
No.
Like,
Hell no.
I feel like, and is it not like legendary what happened in these woods?
You would think.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They never talk about it, do they?
They don't, but this is like a couple days after Higgins Haven
Uh-huh.
massacre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would think, I don't know, there'd be some kind of buzz or something. And I would think the Jarvises would also be talking about it.
Yeah, and if it is headline in the paper,
Yeah,
it has to have been talked about before.
it's probably fine. That has nothing to do with us. Just mind our own business. But we cut to the lake where one of the twins swings into the water on a rope. She waves at Ted and Jimmy, inviting them to come on in. Jimmy tells her no because they have no suits, but Ted looks him up and down, annoyed. Paul swings in next, splashing into the water with his blue hat still on his head. As his friends cheer, he tells them to skinny dip. Samantha doesn't need to be told twice. She immediately pulls her top off, exposing her breasts, and the twins exchange a glance with each other before taking a deep breath and diving under the water. Samantha slides her shorts down, and when the twins resurface, they're topless too. This prompts Ted to take his jacket off, and when the sisters throw their bathing suits up onto the shore, he pulls off his shirt. But Trish and Tommy pull up and park next to their car. Gordon immediately hops out and takes off, forcing Tommy to go after him. But we cut to Ted, who stands bare-assed now before sprinting down into the water. Paul swings in on the rope again, naked this time, and the only one left is Jimmy, fully clothed. While his friends cheer for him to come in, he takes off his jeans and starts to unbutton his shirt. He is dressed very formally for lake activity.
All I'm thinking about right now is all those urethra parasites that are just
1,000%. That's all I ever think about.
If I do.
They're like, we can take our pick.
Yeah.
It was a little concerning.
Yeah.
I get it. Hey, let's get naked and have fun, whatever.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what's here. We don't know what lives in here.
Or if a killer could be skulking.
Yeah.
There's at
Who
least
gets real mad when people get naked?
That's kind of his thing. I would just imagine with all the history of this place, there's at least about 14 corpses down here, I'd say.
Oh, for sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
Just waiting to bob up.
Yeah.
Don't dive too deep, for sure. In the book, too, Lawrence Moneson had said that he's not against doing nudity in film because it's all about what the filmmaker does with it. It can be used as an expression of humanity or it can be gratuitous. So he said he'd definitely get naked on film again, but would he show his ass for something like the final chapter again? No, he would not. This is when Tommy stumbles onto the scene, searching for Gordon. He's amazed when he sees the twins flipping around in the water, but Trish rushes over, turning him away and blocking his view. Doug spots Trish and invites her to come swim with them, but she quips that she thinks she's overdressed. She's also with the fucking 11-year-old.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I'm still a little confused on how to feel so far about the movie. Like not in a bad way or even a good way. Just kind of like I'm watching. I am enjoying what I'm seeing. But I'm still unsure what's happening so far.
We're blending things together.
Yeah.
Or attempting to.
Right.
And waiting for people to die.
Basically.
Let's be honest.
Yeah. Jason's still making his way here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Trish tells them goodbye, and as she pulls her brother away, they call after her, telling her that they're having a party tonight. Tommy calls to Gordon, informing his dog that they're too young for this. But in the car, Tommy muses, "Some pack of patootsies, huh?" His sister scolds him gently, but they're distracted when the engine starts sputtering. Trish pulls to the side as the car slows to a stop, and she mutters, "What's next?" Tommy gets out and raises the hood. He reaches inside with both hands, and when Trish asks if he can fix it, he tells her that he needs a screwdriver. Trish guesses that there might be one in the trunk, and Tommy snags the keys from her to go check. She stays in the driver's seat as he rustles around in the trunk, and after an uneasy moment, she tells her brother impatiently to come on. But they're still having the time of their lives at the lake. Samantha swims up to the dock where Sarah lays fully clothed, writing in her diary. Samantha implores her to come swim with them, strip and dip, but Sarah's answer is an emphatic no. I don't know Sarah as well as Samantha does, but this was not happening.
No.
You know better than that. Samantha decides to handle this in the most mature way she can, to go under the water and not come up until Sarah goes in. Sarah puts her journal in her bag as Samantha takes a breath and disappears under the water. After only a moment, Sarah starts to panic. She calls her friend's name frantically, searching around for her from the safety of the dock. But when Samantha floats out from under her, her eyes staring and her body motionless, Sarah reaches for her friend. Having duped her, Samantha grabs Sarah's arm and pulls her into the water. Sarah is pissed, smacking the water and calling Samantha a bitch.
I had my iPhone in my pocket.
Well, at least she's safe.
My AirPods are ruined.
Man, that's all my whole clothes.
Yeah.
Splash me with water, something. Don't pull me in the fucking...
That's pretty fucked. Also, though, Sarah's fine.
Yeah.
Because the last time we saw her, it looked a little harrowing in the woods.
She's like, I made it back.
Well, I guess we should have known when we saw their car, but it's like, no, everything's fine. I made it through the wilderness. Somehow I made it through. But while Tommy is still tinkering around under the hood, dirty black shoes make their way through the wooded path. Gordon whimpers uneasily in the back seat, putting Trish further on edge. When Tommy instructs her to turn the car on, she does, but the engine is struggling. He tells her again to turn it on, annoyed, and he's focused on the engine in front of him when someone grabs his shoulder and he yelps. This is not the way
No.
to introduce himself to But luckily, it's not Jason. It's a man with a camping pack on his back, Rob Dyer, played by Eric Anderson.
Eric Anderson. He has a credit in Unfaithful from 2002.
Okay. We're going to talk later about his casting, but he had also never seen a Friday the 13th film. And he did not read at the end how much rain and cold he was going to be put through, and he was not happy about it.
Okay.
Seems to be a theme here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's wild to me for how profitable and successful these films were that people are like, yeah, I never saw one before this one.
Yeah.
But I guess, it's just not their bag. I don't know.
Yeah. But I mean, at the time, you're working and doing stuff at the time.
And they're massive.
Yeah.
But he introduces himself with an apology. Rob eyes the engine as he sets down his pack. Trish comes out, and when he asks what the problem is, she says that there isn't one, but he clarifies he's talking about the car. She tells him that it won't start. He tells her to get in and give it a crank as he leans under the hood with Tommy. He reaches in, but Tommy assures him that he's tried everything. The only thing it could be is the solenoid. He proposes that if Rob had a screwdriver, and in response, Rob reaches into his boot and pulls out a knife. He brings it down under the hood and tells Trish again to give it a crank. She does, and the engine struggles. Rob brings down the knife on a part. I do know what part it is, but I'm not going to bore you guys because I'm the only mechanic here. But it does produce a spark, and the car finally starts.
Here is wild.
My wife, the mechanic.
That's me.
Like in the room.
Yeah.
The pro, yeah. I don't want to bore you guys. It would really just go over your head and be embarrassing. But
Of course.
Trish smiles and she leans out of the window offering, "You need a lift?" So Eric Anderson said that he put a real knife in his boot because he wanted it to look real. So they're doing take after take of this. He's pulling out the knife, sliding it back in his boot, pulling out the knife, sliding it back in his boot. He said that it, again, like we said, is freezing cold out here and his hands are literally shaking. And on the last take that they did, he misses his boot and the knife goes right into his ankle.
Of course.
He said that he didn't say anything until they finished shooting and he ended up needing 9 stitches in his ankle.
Fiddle-dee-dee. Like, goddamn, dude. And where is anybody in the crew that's like, hey, don't
Don't do
have
that.
a real fucking knife here? That's crazy.
It really is, though. And not like his thigh, like something about the ankle. Like that is so deeply upsetting.
And cool, you wanted it to look real or cool or whatever, but maybe not.
No.
But we cut to the 3 of them, Trish, Tommy, and Rob in the car with Gordon. Rob admits that he didn't think anyone lived this deep in the woods, but Trish shares with another big smile. We do. She asks what he's hunting for, and Rob answers simply, bear. He asks if there's anyone up at the lake today. Tommy argues that he can't be hunting for bear, but Rob is still asking questions. Are there any kids or vacationers? Any people like that? Trish tells him that a bunch of kids moved in right next door to them yesterday, and Rob looks uneasy, but he doesn't offer a response. Once you know what's going on, you understand why he's asking all these questions, but it does look very odd and suspicious.
Yeah. It's like, are you Jason's accomplice?
Literally, yeah. And the way he's introduced with his boots and like grabbing fucking Tommy. Like, it's weird.
So strange to me as well, because he's just like, I'm Rob Dyer. It's like, I don't know who the fuck that is. That means nothing to me.
Trish finally stops the car outside of their house. Everyone gets out, and while Gordon sprints off and Tommy scolds him, Rob thanks Trish for the ride. He pulls on his pack, and Trish takes the opportunity to ask if he'd like to come in for a minute. Rob tells her regrettably that he doesn't think he can, but Tommy insists that he's got to come in. He's got something real neat to show him up in his bedroom. No,
yeah,
we're not doing that.
This is inappropriate, right? Like, yeah, sure, kid, let's go.
I get a kid being, kids just want to show, and these kids just moved in.
Yeah.
Nobody's out here but his mom and his sister, and they're probably fucking sick of seeing his shit. I get the excitement, but as Rob, I'm okay. Like, thank you, though.
Or as...
I feel like I wouldn't even want to go in their house.
Like, Trish. It's like, yeah, it's just some guy we met in the woods.
Yeah, go ahead. Go with my brother. Yeah. Like, it's I don't know. The 80s were a different time, I guess.
No seatbelts or whatever?
No.
Mrs. Jarvis is sitting on the couch knitting when her son bursts in with a stranger. Tommy rushes Rob up the stairs, but Mrs. Jarvis gets to her feet and asks who his friend is. Trish comes in making the quick introduction. Mom, this is Rob. Rob, this is my mother. But Rob only has time to say, hello, Mrs., before Tommy drags him up the stairs and he's gone. Mrs. Jarvis supplies Jarvis as she cranes her neck to look up the stairs. But Tommy enters his room with Rob with a satisfied smile. He looks around at his sculpted masks and his workstation. Rob looks impressed too, and even goes to admire one of the masks with its twisted face and jutted teeth. He says that it's amazing. But with the sting in the score, something creeps into view and grabs a hold of Rob's neck. But it's only Tommy with a toy. He grins when he tells Rob that he needs to show him something. He slides his arm into a puppet and thrusts its ogre face at Rob when he sits down next to him. He's able to operate the face's eyes, darting them to the side when he opens the creature's mouth in a roar. So there was a lot more here. I saw a scene in the documentary, or a clip, where Tommy uses a guillotine to chop his own fingers off, but it's not really his hand. But Rob's like, oh my God.
Well, dude, he's like, I just got it out of the woods and I'm here. And this kid's chopping his hand off. Like, there's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
But
that would be crazy as fuck.
It would.
The fact that he's like, I've got something to show you. I've got something to show you. There is something that Tom Savini wanted to do later on that would have started here.
Oh.
And I wonder if that's what Tommy was intended to be showing him, but I'll tell you guys that later.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just like, cool, kid. He's like, rawr. It's like, cool.
I mean, this is a pretty impressive apparatus that he's...
True, and he's operating it.
Yeah.
But it's like, wait till you hear what it was going to be.
Oh, okay.
Potentially.
I'm excited.
But in the other house, Samantha and Paul are sitting on the stairs making out. We follow Jimmy over to the living room where Ted sits on the couch drinking and Tina sticks her finger into a tub of dip for chips and then sucks her finger. I was like, that's unsanitary. We don't even know you.
That dip for everyone.
Yeah.
She sits down with Ted as Jimmy begins to play music. Love is a Lie by Lion resounds loudly. Jimmy makes his way over to Terry and asks if she'd like to dance. She's like, to this? But Jimmy insists that it's good. She stands and they start to dance, by which I mean Jimmy is engaging in some sort of spasming mating dance. It is wild, really, really wild.
I think I've seen birds do this.
That's what it reminded me of. And he made this up, they said.
Oh, you
This
mean
was
it wasn't taught to him
He was
beat
not
for beat?
classical.
This wasn't choreographed extensively.
It was all crisp and clever.
Oh, wow.
Believe it or not.
Color me surprised.
Yeah, they didn't have that hip hop class.
No. I can't remember where I read it, but I read somewhere that it was originally Nay's favorite band, AC/DC's Back in Black, which honestly, those movements match that song in a way that is quite disturbing.
It definitely matches, and it makes sense that she's like, dance to this.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Just imagine. It's just,
Somebody
I
sync
see
that
it
up.
perfect.
Yeah.
Sync it up, please.
It's perfect.
But Samantha and Paul are even giggling as they watch from the stairs. When they go over to the record player and turn this off to replace it with something else, Jimmy asks why they did that. But Paul tells his friend to relax because he's going to love this. When the music starts to play again, the tone is very different, softer, and more romantic. Paul and Samantha sway together to the music before she leaves the room. On the couch, Tina holds a teddy bear, and when Ted invites her to give Teddy a kiss, he lunges for her, pressing his lips against hers. She struggles against him, ultimately electing to leave to get something to drink. Ted looks confused at this turn of events, and alone with the bear now, he punches it in its plush face.
The bear didn't.
Did nothing.
Ugh.
And the way that he uses this bear, I'm like, did you bring this here?
Yeah.
Like, is this your thing?
He's like, this is my only move.
Yeah. Instead of getting another drink, though, Tina pauses next to Paul at the record player. He asks if she likes this stuff, and she counters with a question of her own. You like slow dancing? Paul grins that he could learn to, but this is when Samantha pops back up, demanding a kiss. Paul cocks his blue hat to the side and obliges before leading her away from Tina to slow dance. Ted is shooting his shot again, pulling Tina into a dance of their own, leaving Jimmy to awkwardly do the same with Terry, and the three would-be couples slow dance in the living room. But next door, Trish is walking outside with Rob. It's dark now, and she advises him to stay near the trail. It goes all the way around the lake. He assures her that he will before asking if it's just the three of them out here. Trish confirms this. Again, another very suspicious and off-putting question.
Yeah.
But she says that her parents are separated. She chuckles, middle-aged crazies, before admitting that she does hope they get back together. Rob agrees that he hopes so too.
What?
Thanks, Rob Dyer.
Yeah, I know.
Cool.
It's just so awkward. Yeah, me too, man. They pause before Rob takes his leave, and Trish comments that it looks like another rainy one. She tells him that if it gets too bad out there or if he wants to take a shower, they're always home, and Tommy usually leaves the door open.
What the hell are you talking
I
about?
know.
She's a slasher film's dream. Like, this
yeah.
is insane.
I thought the neighbors were horny. What
Yeah.
the fuck is
In
this?
fact, my bedroom's right
Yeah.
upstairs. Rob thanks her with a quick kiss on the cheek. He tells her goodnight before walking out into the darkness. At the other house, though, Jimmy is sulking in the kitchen. Ted comes in and takes this to mean that Jimmy's getting nowhere. He fishes in the drawer for a corkscrew, and he invites his friend to just watch him, watch what he does. He turns and slides his hand in his pants, letting it hang limply through the open button fly of his jeans. He turns back to his friend and offers his final piece of advice. And Jimbo, don't be a dead fuck. He laughs at his own joke, while Jimmy obviously does not. He reminds Ted that he told him he didn't like that. And besides, Ted got the hot twin.
What?
I don't know. What? Ted's just... What kind of advice is this?
I know.
He's like, act real smooth and make a move like this. It's like, what? This is not going to work.
And I don't understand why he keeps pointing at it like making fun of his penis.
He does.
So it's like, so why are you just calling him a limp dick then?
I don't know.
Because that's not what the computer said.
No.
Well, but
The computer was very specific about that.
there was no computer.
There wasn't.
And the hot twin?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jimmy, shut the fuck up. But Tina appears in the doorway now, and she looks a little appalled when she looks down at Ted's jeans. He waves at her awkwardly with the hand, still hanging from his crotch, and Jimmy throws him under the bus further. He thinks that's funny. He thinks it's a funny thing he's doing.
That's great.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah,
I laughed out loud. But Ted can only shrug. Later, the crowd watches and cheers as Tina and Terry shotgun their beers. But Samantha's expression sours when Tina wins the race and jumps on Paul, throwing her arms around him. She asks what she won, and Paul asks a question in return. Well, what do you want? You got me so fucked up. So beyond fucked up.
Paul is out of pocket.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know what he's doing here.
I don't know what the movie's doing.
We need a little drama.
JP's like, nobody's died in a long time.
Yeah. I didn't want to say it. Goddamn, dude.
But the two lock eyes, and Paul tells Jimmy to go put on another record. Samantha shoots Sarah a look of disbelief, and when Jimmy and Ted leave to go put on the music, Tina turns to her and challenges, "You don't mind, do you?" Samantha steps up, informing them that she was actually thinking about taking a swim. It seems to be getting a bit close in here for her. She gives Paul a disgusted look before leaving, and he does let her leave.
Yeah.
Sarah tries to go after her friend, but Doug holds her back and asks her to dance. Sarah tries to pull away, asserting that she doesn't want to dance, so Doug offers instead. Well, then let's mind our own business. They look over at Paul, who's allowing himself to be led over to the record player by Tina. And as music starts to play, Doug tells Sarah that he'll talk to Paul. But Tina is taking off Paul's signature blue hat. She places it on her own head and holds Paul close, shooting a taunting glance at Ted, who watches in misery from the stairs. She doesn't care whose toes she steps on.
Yeah.
No.
She closes her eyes and rests her head on Paul's shoulder, pulling him even closer. Jimmy comes over to Ted and tells him that he wants to talk to him for a second, but Ted only makes it clear that his mission is to kill Paul. Jimmy repeats that he wants to talk to him for a second, but Ted snaps at him. "Not now, dead fuck." But Jimmy reveals that that's what he wants to talk to Ted about. But Ted can't take his eyes off of Tina and Paul. He asks Jimmy, "Can you believe this guy? I had her." He's confident that she was his. Jimmy has a suggestion for him. Maybe he should run that through his little computer. And Ted finally turns to Jimmy, offended. Jimmy ate with that one.
That's fair.
But we cut to Samantha, walking alone in the dark through the woods as a James Wan fog creeps in. When she hears the snapping of a twig, she turns and calls out to Paul. She grins and asserts that she knows he's out here. When no one steps out from the trees, she naturally gets completely naked. A lone yellow raft floats out on the water, and when Paul doesn't make himself known to a now fully naked Samantha, she decides, "Screw you, Paulie," and heads to the water.
Look, I appreciate whatever we're doing here with the kids going over here and the whole story and getting more in depth with the characters and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The nakedness is it's again, I appreciate it. You don't have to be naked here. You were just mad.
Very
Your boyfriend's
mad.
doing some bullshit.
So rightfully mad.
Yeah.
Well,
Like-
she's feeling hot. She's like, I gotta get out of these clothes. And it is, I was honestly, it's funny to me because whenever they were skinny dipping earlier,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, well, there's your 80s slasher nudity quotient.
Yeah.
But then it continues. I'm like, man, they really meant
We're
it.
not done. Jason's theme whispers as she swims out to the raft. We press in on it ominously, but she's still alone when she climbs inside.
The yellow raft.
Yes.
Yeah.
She lies inside quiet for a moment as the fog blows away. A little sad now, she calls out to Paul, again telling him that she knows he's out there. When the singing of insects is her only reply, she decides again, "Screw you, Paul." She lies her head down on the raft, and when Jason lurches out of the water, she only has time to cry out before he grabs her. He holds her down with one hand while he brings his knife up from beneath the raft with the other. The knife comes jutting out of Samantha's back, bringing her blood with it. Samantha can't move, and she can do nothing but scream with her tongue lolling from her mouth as Jason brings the knife up further still, jostling the inflatable raft.
I did not expect for her to die so swiftly.
No.
I thought there would be a little more with her character because there is a lot going on in that house that
Yeah.
she has a lot of vested interest in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And apparently this death scene went on for a lot longer and was a lot bloodier,
Of
but
course.
again, it got trimmed down.
God.
Okay.
But there was a little bit of drama that went on surrounding this. So this was filmed by Judy Aronson actually being inside the raft. She had a bathing suit on from the waist down under the water. She's standing up with the top part of her laying in the raft, and then it's a fake lower body behind her. It was 23 degrees outside.
Oh my God.
And she said she was absolutely freezing having to stand in this water for hours, that she's shivering and her teeth are chattering. She asked Zito if she could get out and warm up, but he kept telling her no. Ted White said that she was literally turning blue. He said that Zito had already been treating, this is according to Ted White, had already been treating this young cast horribly and they were barely getting paid. So this was the last straw for him. He said that he'd already told Zito multiple times during production to kiss his ass. And when he approached Zito saying that they needed to get Judy Aronson out of the water now, he told Ted White, according to Ted White, how about you worry about being Jason and I'll worry about directing.
See, now I feel bad for all the things that we were saying about Ted White. Because he's Ted Wright.
He is
Yeah,
Ted
no,
White,
yeah.
but hold your opinions till the
Oh,
end.
shit.
Yeah.
Okay. I was too easily swayed.
There's more later,
You
even
can
outside
still
of this.
see a work violation and call it out.
Yes.
You know.
Even if you're an asshole.
Yeah.
Yes.
Broken clock.
Yes.
Yeah.
But he said it wasn't until Ted White said that it wasn't until he threatened to walk away completely that Judy Aronson was allowed to get out and warm up, but then she did have to get back in the water. So this is when I'm like, oh, this is Bravo. This is Housewives confessional. So because we immediately go to Zito's version, who says that Ted White was in a bad mood all the time because Tom Savini told him, he's like, I heard from Tom that Ted White insisted on wearing the Jason makeup a lot and it made him drool. And so he was embarrassed by it. Because Ted White said that he isolated himself from the crew. He didn't think Jason should be hanging around drinking and cutting up with the kids that he's going to kill.
That's fair.
So
Yeah.
he kept away from everybody and was very quiet. And Zito was like, that's not true. He was just embarrassed. Like, he was just embarrassed to be around everybody because the makeup made him drool.
Dude, that sounds like bullshit.
This is Zito's version. But that if he was in a bad mood and having a bad time, that had nothing to do with Zito. That's what he said.
He said in the third person.
Yeah, it was-
I'm clarifying.
right. Zito doesn't make anyone mad.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you're the asshole if you're talking like that.
That was
Yeah.
me. That was me. Zito said that Judy Aronson was completely fine in the water and that she was a real trooper, and it was Ted White who was cold and didn't want to be in the water anymore. So when Ted White asked if he could get out, Zito told him that if Judy Aronson can do it, he can. And so he bullied him back into the water. He goes in the book, you can ask Judy about that. So we cut to Judy's section where she says that that is not true. She was sobbing in the water for hours and Ted White had had enough and he went to Zito. Cut back to Zito, who said that he's not trying to lie or project anything that didn't happen, but he is positive that Ted White never advocated for anyone but himself and that they never even had a conversation outside of Zito directing Ted White. Cut to Ted White saying that he told Zito repeatedly that once the shoot was over, he was going to kick his ass. And according to him, after Zito called cut for the last time when they wrapped, he ran to his car. And Ted White said that he never saw him again, which he asserted was a good thing because he really was going to kick his ass. This is all in that
This
book.
is like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Zito's like, Zito, don't play that shit.
Peter Barton, Doug, also agreed with Ted White, saying that Zito was extremely hard on Judy Aronson and that he didn't care about anyone's comfort because they were freezing cold out here. And Honestly, no matter which version is true, which I think one is a lot more believable than the other one, Judy Aronson ended up with hypothermia and was extremely sick for several days after they filmed this.
See, and her corroborating Ted White's story so clearly, and it honestly just seems like Zito had it out for Ted White now that I'm looking at it.
Yeah.
Every single chance he has, he's like, I told you he's an asshole, right? Like,
and he was drooling, it was gross.
And he was embarrassed, he was crying, he called his mom on break. It's like, dude.
He didn't even like Zito.
No.
Like, that's you, man.
Everybody likes
Zito. It's painful.
But yeah, I was like, holy shit, dude, that's wild.
Yeah.
Like, and it's, to me, it's very clear I would say truer version of events. But and it sucks how quick her death is. If she had to be in the water for hours, and I'm sure they did a lot more makeup and a lot more, because they said that they filmed it fully and then ended up having to cut it down. So she really withstood all of that for, I mean, her death lasts like 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's real quick.
Yeah. But back inside, Ted lights a match and stares at the flame dismally. Finally, Paul pulls away from Tina, realizing that he can't do this and he's got to go. Tina stares after him, disbelieving, Paul's blue hat still perched on her head. But Paul has gone outside to look for Samantha, and we watch him through the trees as he makes his way forward into the dark woods. When he hears a rustling, he pauses to look back, but then he presses forward. But back at the other house, Terry glances at the door and makes her fingers walk away as she eyes her twin. But Tina just pivots. I'm like, dude, she's ready to go, and I don't fucking blame her.
Yeah.
Tina goes over to Jimmy now. She takes off Paul's hat and places it on Jimmy's when she asks if he wants to dance. Jimmy says that he does and shoots a glance over at Ted on the couch next to him, but Ted is absorbed in the flame that he holds between his fingers. Jimmy and Tina start to dance, and this is when Ted looks up at them. Jimmy whispers that he thought she wanted to be with Ted, and Tina reasons that she did, but now she wants to be with Jimmy. Jimmy admits that it makes him feel like a rat, but he doesn't stop dancing with her.
You are, though. Yeah.
He knows about rats.
Yeah, in the future. Yeah.
Rats is an interesting thing to say.
They're my best friends.
Yeah.
He asks if she wants to join the rest of the group, but Tina places her hands on Jimmy's shoulders when she offers a counter suggestion. Jimmy, why don't we just go upstairs? She leans forward and kisses him, and Jimmy is powerless. He smiles and chuckles before the two disappear up the stairs. Ted accepts his defeat by turning his attentions over to Terry. This is insane. Mm-hmm. He grins at her, and Terry looks visibly uneasy, but she gets up from her chair and joins Ted on the couch. She grabs onto the bear and averts her eyes. Ted points out that that's Teddy Bear. He wraps his arm around her and asks, "Want to give Teddy Bear a kiss?" Terry smiles, but she turns her face away, and Ted is pissed. But outside, Paul takes off his shirt and shoes as he creeps closer to the water. He spots Samantha out on the raft, and he swims over as quietly as he can. Jason's theme whispers against the score as Paul gets closer. We approach the raft. Only Samantha's foot, the top of her head, and her limp hand hanging over the edge are visible. Paul pounces up at her with the sting in the score, but his silence gives way to screams when he sees what's become of Samantha. He splashes back down into the water, and as a high-pitched score screeches, Paul hurries to the dock. He starts to climb up when he is speared from beneath right in the crotch. Jason holds him up on the spear as Paul cries out in agony. Again, this is very fast, but goddamn.
Yeah.
That was a good shot, Jason.
Yeah. Looks rough.
I whenever I was watching this scene, we're watching him swim for quite a while.
Yeah.
But then you're like, this is actually really good suspense because we know Jason's here.
Yeah.
We just don't know when it's gonna happen.
Right.
So I liked it.
And so waiting until he's like almost free and getting him in like the worst fucking way possible.
He's like, I saw you in the house.
Yeah. It was good. It was good. Rob hears his screaming from his tent and slowly makes his way into the trees with a machete at the ready. He creeps forward, keeping his head on a swivel, and when he hears a twig snap, he turns to see movement at his campsite. He rushes back, standing at the opening of his tent with the machete in his grip. But when he drops down, it's only him and the tent is empty. He searches inside to find his rifle broken and his map crumpled up. And Rob looks confused, and I'll admit, so did I.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty juvenile, right?
Yeah, it's a little odd.
It's like
for
childish.
Jason to do.
I don't feel like he would do that.
No.
And then
I
he
don't
just
either.
wrinkled the mouth.
Yeah.
You didn't even tear it. You just bolted up.
It's like you're not getting anywhere. And he doesn't even try to kill him.
No, yeah.
It's
that.
I thought it was a little funny. Yeah, it's odd behavior.
And these snapping twigs are giving everyone away.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
These woods are full of them.
Back at the other house, we hover outside the second floor where the wind slowly pushes the shutters open. But inside the bedroom, Jimmy sits on the bed with Paul's hat still on his head. He comments that this is a neat room, but Tina is already taking down her hair and unbuttoning her shirt, reiterating, "This is your room." Jimmy has to object that this is actually Paul's room, but Tina doesn't care. She tells Jimmy that he's neat before crawling on top of him on the bed. They kiss for a second before the bed buckles beneath them. They take this in stride and continue making out. I don't know why the bed broke. Maybe because it's like we're not doing that same death again. Maybe it's telling us because we have done some, up through the bed, down through the bed as well. It's
Okay.
Not here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe above, but not below. Downstairs, though, Ted has found a film reel and holds it up to the light. He calls out to his friends to see what he found, and we cut to a woman in black and white with long braids, prancing around and dancing, topless. Sarah, Doug, Ted, and Terry are watching this via a projector, and while Terry looks uncomfortable, the rest of them are laughing and groaning, with Ted even mocking, "What a pig!" When another woman dances into frame, Ted continues laughing his ass off. Shut the fuck up, Ted.
Yeah, I don't understand what was funny.
Ted is the only pig I see.
Literally.
Yeah, he's terrible.
Like, oh my God, dude. Terry heads upstairs and walks to the door at the end of the hall. Tina and Jimmy are in bed naked and kissing when she knocks on the door. She tells her sister flatly that they gotta go. Tina rolls her eyes and insists that Terry just go. Terry tells Tina through the door that she can't leave without her, but Tina just coldly advises her twin to take an umbrella. We peer through the trees outside as Terry steps out of the house and pauses before stepping out into the pouring rain. She belts a rain slicker around her waist and ties one over her head to cover her hair. Finally, she walks over to the bike, parked right next to her sister's. She remarks bitterly, "You slut," as she gets ready to get on her bike. But we're moving past Terry, up to the side of the house, and in a flash of lightning, we see her silhouette projected against the house as she is stabbed. Inside, Ted cackles, holding a joint as a naked woman in the silent film calls for help. But back in the rain, Terry's body is thrown against the side of the house, where it sticks due to the spear impaling Terry through the back and stomach. So that's the end of Terry, and I kind of understand her feeling of like, why was I even here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, this is a decent death.
it is.
I like the silhouette, but I get what she's saying.
No, yeah, it was very small.
Yeah.
It's like, did I need to be here?
Yeah. I thought that the silhouette would have been cool alone.
Yes, yeah.
No, we gotta really.
Yeah, they're like,
Yeah.
no, we've killed her.
Yeah.
Well, the other ones were really quick, so at least we got to see something.
Yeah. In the living room, Sarah decides that she's going upstairs. Doug asks if she's tired, and Sarah seems a little dazed when she tells him that she isn't. She asks him, though, if he wouldn't mind sleeping in the bottom bunk tonight. Doug asks why. You want to sleep on the top? But Sarah says no and eyes Doug with a grin. I mean, I guess watching the naked women running around, I get it. She's like, no, it's time. It's time. Finally, she tells him to give her a few minutes. She stands with a smile and ruffles Ted's hair on the way out, bidding him goodnight. And once she's gone, Ted looks back at Doug, giggling, and Doug warns him playfully to stop. At the Jarvis house, Mrs. Jarvis is soaked when she comes back inside. She calls out, "I'm going to towel off and then I'm going to strangle you." When the lights don't work, she goes to the sink and dries her face on a towel. After getting herself a glass of water, she tries the light switches again to no avail. She calls out to her kids, and when she doesn't get a response, she calls for Gordon and wonders where Tommy is. And where's Trish? She wonders, matter of fact, where the hell are you? She wanders through her dark house and finally opens the front door to look for their dog. Mrs. Jarvis steps out onto the porch and finally back out into the rain. She calls Gordon's name again as the storm rages and thunder cracks loudly, and she peers around the side of the house, but her expression transforms instantly to one of shock and fear with the sharp sting in the score. So she's dead.
Mm-hmm.
We don't see anything happen. I thought, because they mentioned several times in the between the documentary and the book, how Mrs. Jarvis's character kind of sets this film apart because there are no parental figures ever in these movies, aside from, Mrs. Voorhees herself.
Yeah.
So I thought it would be interesting, like maybe Jason would want to keep her.
That is what I was thinking.
Or like please her, or, because of his own mother.
Yeah.
Please her and not the Jimmy and Ted way. Please
Well, the
her
movie's
like
told me it's horny like 5 times.
But I mean like get her approval.
Right.
As a mother because of his mother.
Yeah.
So I thought that could have lent an interesting dynamic, especially the fact that we don't see him kill her or her body or anything.
Yeah.
But they blatantly say in everything, oh no, she's dead. Mrs. Jarvis is dead.
To me, that's incredibly disappointing.
Yeah.
Because I thought exactly as you did. I thought it was going to be something at the very, very end of the film that it could be maybe used in the same way that Ginny did.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you have this scene with Jason and Mrs. Jarvis, and it's like he's kind of like, is that my mother in there? Not to quote Mystic River again, 2 weeks in a row.
We should always quote Mystic River.
But, and to not even see her die.
Right.
And she, had what we saw a very good relationship with both of her children.
Yes.
So that could also be used as a thing for them to discover her, and it's not.
Yeah.
So it's just very strange.
Yeah, I totally agree. She had said in the documentary that they left it there because there's nothing as scary that could happen to Mrs. Jarvis than what we could imagine happening to me. I'm like, nah, I feel like this isn't that kind of film.
What?
I feel like we need to see Mrs. Jarvis up on something or being thrown through something or
this isn't Hitchcock.
bludgeoned.
It's like, it's what you don't see.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I don't think so. The theater of the mind or whatever.
Not in Friday the 13th.
None of that.
Not in
None
Friday
of
the
it.
13th.
No.
But I will say that they talked in the book that Mancuso Jr. wanted another dream sequence, and they actually filmed one where Trish is downstairs and she sees water dripping down from upstairs, and she goes up and finds her mom dead in the tub with the water running, and she suddenly Mrs. Jarvis bursts out of the tub like a monster and her eyes are all white. And I did see that with her white eyes and it did look pretty creepy. But Zito said that he didn't feel like it added anything, so he didn't want it.
Well, he's wrong.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I'm pretty disappointed because I feel like we got her here to just go to that for her to go outside.
Yeah.
Oh, everybody's gone. The lights are off. I don't know where I'm at. And then it's too quick. We do see it off screen.
Yeah.
But I see, I didn't think of it as like that. I just figured maybe the fight is going to be with her. She's
protecting her kids,
right.
maybe,
She's going to come back and find her kids. Maybe we do forget about her and then later, whatever. But her just being killed off screen is just like, oh.
And maybe he's killed by a mother because he's avenging his...
Anything.
I mean, I feel like...
the full circle.
Yeah, the mother thing is such a huge and important theme in this franchise that I really was kind of expecting her to come back up or expecting something with her if we're gonna have a mom in this,
right
when we don't do that.
No,
I feel like her character was a little bit wasted in that because it is ripe with just something happening with her, either with her surviving or with her death.
Something,
you know.
And like you were saying, T, her being cool with the kids, it's It's just we don't get a lot of it. We get the tropey parents who are mad for no reason, or like in Dream Master where dude was just an asshole to be an asshole.
Yeah.
Or the mom's like, yeah, your friends are dead. Shut up and eat your food.
Yeah. And drink all that water.
But yeah, no, I agree. But we cut to Trish and Tommy safely in the car and driving through the rain. He asks if they can slow down because the party's going to last all night. He laments with two sticking out of his mouth that he thinks he's going to lose his lollipop. Sarah stands in her bedroom next to the bunk beds in a white bra and panties. She pulls on a silky robe and admires herself in the mirror with a smile as she ties it around her waist. But Trish and Tommy have returned to their dark house. They're confused when they call for their mother and she's nowhere to be found. When the lights don't work, we peer up the dark staircase where rain falls endlessly from behind the window. And slowly, Trish and Tommy mount the steps. After looking around, they realize that their mom isn't here. Tommy guesses that maybe she's still jogging, but this doesn't track for Trish. She opens the window, musing that it's raining hard and their mother is never gone for this long.
She's still jogging.
Well, they were jogging at 6 a.m.
Yeah, I was going to say, wasn't that one lap?
Is she a fucking sim? It's like, no, you need to level up your fitness. Trying to get that promotion.
Your energy's in the red.
Yeah.
Go home.
Trish decides that she's going to go check for her on the path. Tommy asserts that he's going too, prompting a short back and forth between the two of them. But Trish finally puts her foot down, insisting that she is going alone. She tells Tommy to stay and fix the lights. Tommy wears a lot of hats in this house. He's the mechanic. He's the electrician. And he's Tom Savini.
Yeah.
Trish walks the path in the pouring rain and stumbles upon Rob's empty tent. She crawls inside and looks around pensively as Jason's theme whispers, and we creep up on the tent in an ominous POV. The score begins to build as we get closer and closer, snapping twigs as we go, of course. But once the shadow is cast against the side of the tent and the score climbs to an uncomfortable whine, a slash is cut. The slice yawns open on the side of the yellow tent as the culprit steps into view. It's Rob. He holds the machete up, and when Trish makes herself visible, he asks what the hell she's doing here. But Trish has her own question. What are you trying to do? Kill me? Rob looks at his machete and finally lowers it, but has no response. Trish catches her breath. Back in the bedroom, Tina lays on Jimmy's chest with her eyes closed. After some stammering, Jimmy finally musters up the question. Was I a dead fuck? Dude, not now.
No. It's like, I got to close my character arc.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I'm Crispin Lover.
Yeah, there you go.
Very good. Tina chuckles at this before telling him what she thinks, what she really thinks. She thinks he was incredible. Jimmy laughs, relieved, and the two start to kiss again. Tina decides that she wants to do it again, but she tells Jimmy not to move from here because she'll be right back. Downstairs, Ted watches the movie and giggles as a woman dances topless in a hula skirt. Despite being told to stay where he was, Jimmy comes downstairs, buttoning his shirt. He sits next to his friend and holds out a pair of white panties, inviting Teddy Bear to run this through his computer. You did already make that joke once.
Yeah.
But again, take your victory lap. It's fun. It is funny to me that instead of staying upstairs and having sex again, he's like, no, I gotta go fucking tell Ted about that.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
It just pissed me. It's like, it's so all just to impress this loser.
No, it's weird.
Yeah.
You steal her underwear and you're like, here, you can keep that. What the fuck is wrong
Yeah,
with you?
you're probably gonna have to explain that
Yes.
when we're getting dressed.
It's crazy. But Ted snatches the underwear and congratulates his friend with a giggle. As another woman dances on the projection in a sombrero, Jimmy asks where that bottle of wine is so that they can celebrate. But Ted laughs that he thinks he might have drank it. Jimmy boasts that he was great. He goes to the kitchen and gets a bottle of wine from the fridge. When he can't find the corkscrew, he yells out at Ted and asks where it is. But Ted is clutching the underwear and giggling at the movie again, so he doesn't answer. Jimmy continues to search the drawer, more and more annoyed when he asks Ted again where the corkscrew is. But the corkscrew finds him when Jason steps into view and stabs it down through Jimmy's hand, pinning him to the counter. It's a little playful.
Yeah.
A little playful for Jason. I mean, good for him.
I mean, yeah. He's like, we're about 3 movies deep, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sentient now. I know what's going on. I know what a wine fucking corkscrew is.
You think I am an idiot? Blood pours from Jimmy's hand, and as he tries to pull himself free, Jason brings his machete up and buries it right in the middle of Jimmy's face. His face is frozen in a silent scream as blood pours down. I thought this looked great.
It did.
Yeah.
But I was also surprised.
Yeah.
That Jimmy's dead already?
Well, not a single noise made.
Oh, yeah.
You stabbed my fucking hand.
That's true.
Yeah.
Ted's just still in the living room.
Yeah. What a pig.
And Jimmy's like,
Help me.
shut up, dude.
But upstairs, Tina has returned to the bedroom to find that Jimmy is gone. She crosses the room over to the window and peers down to find that her sister's bike is still parked next to hers. In post-nut clarity, you got to be like, I didn't need to treat her like that. That was actually really fucked up to send her out into the rainy darkness alone.
Mm-hmm.
But confused, she goes to another window and wipes away the condensation to look out into the rain. But it's only when she stands back straight that Jason crashes through the window. He snatches Tina up and flings her out of the house. A tense score whines as Tina flies down in slow motion and crashes on the top of the friend's car. The impact blasts out all the windows.
It's like, holy shit. One thing I will say though is if you do like the slow motion out of a window, we got the film
There's one.
for you. But that death was insane.
Yeah.
Why fuck me though? That's crazy. And again, there's noise, but how does nobody hear this?
Well, see, this is what I'm thinking because we went out of our way to tell us earlier that Samantha and Paul are standing right down the hall from Sarah and Doug's room.
Yeah.
And Sarah went up to the room. So I'm like, and Doug, I guess, is not downstairs anymore.
Yeah.
So I thought this was going to lead to Sarah and Doug hearing something, but no. And also, Jason's fucking moving, okay?
Yes.
Because he was just in the kitchen with Jimmy. Then he goes up, Spider-Man's up the house to stand outside the window.
Mm-hmm.
And then, not to spoil anything, but he's back downstairs in a minute.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But, all right.
And yeah, nobody's hearing anything. I'm thinking about the other twin that was stabbed into the wall.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Ted's right
Inside
there.
the house, yeah.
It's like, damn, it's windy as hell out there. Just back to the projection.
But Camilla Moore said that she knew Jason was coming. They told her what was going to happen, but just not when. So Zito told her that all she had to do, obviously, was be scared and startled and get her head and neck through the hole in the window. That's all she had to do. Then they cut to the stunt woman doing the jump, and then they blow out the windows, obviously on impact, which is really a lot. And, well, I guess the Jarvises aren't home to hear it. But yeah, I was like, God damn, dude, that's kind of insult to injury.
It was bad enough, but that impact.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I do want to say, God damn, hell yeah to that stunt woman, because that
Yes.
shit,
1,000%.
that looked so fucking cool. But I was like, oh, that must have hurt.
It looked very painful.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Rob is sitting with Trish in the tent now, sharing that his sister Sandra was a really great kid. Trish tells him that the man that killed her is dead, but Rob asserts that he's alive. He looks through newspapers and presents her with one. Under the headline Crystal Lake Massacre, there's a sketch of young Jason. Rob says that it's an artist's rendering from a description by a would-be victim. He continues, then the murders. Trish protests again that he's dead, but Rob informs her that his body disappeared from the morgue. Which is important information.
Mm-hmm.
Trish reasons that it was stolen, but Rob dismisses this. 2 people from the hospital are missing. So what did he do with the bodies?
Yeah.
Any cleaned up?
That's a great question.
But he asks her facetiously if that's a coincidence. And he repeats again that Jason is alive. Trish finally relents and realizes with fear that her brother is alone at the house. And Rob looks up at her with worry. So Sandra was the one that got killed, stabbed through Jeff. We saw in the montage at the beginning.
Okay.
That's Rob's sister. I don't feel like they do a very good job of explaining that, who she is.
I don't know that she's a big enough character to
No.
Yeah.
warrant that kind of a...
Like avenged. Like,
yeah.
And Zito said that in their minds, Rob has been searching and hell bent on this revenge against Jason for a long time.
Mhm.
But they didn't realize when they were writing it that chronologically his sister died a couple days ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So this whole thing is odd. I don't know that we even need Rob to have this.
No.
You know, it would make a lot more sense if it was someone from the third film.
Or if of Hagen's like family member.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's fresh. We opened at the crime scene at the beginning of the film. Let's connect it right back to the one that just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a woman, we pass a sobbing woman in the hospital. He could have been there with that woman and now he's out here like, no, fuck that.
Yeah.
I feel like if we wanted this like avenge my family member route, I feel like there are different ways that we could have gone about it, especially if we're going to have that opening at the hospital at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But this was a little odd, and I was like, who the fuck was Sandra? Like, I literally did, and I write the scripts for these, and I did not remember.
Or just even a little caption that says Rob's sister at the beginning when she's getting killed again.
And an arrow. We're like, who's Rob?
We'll learn. That's all right.
That's true. You know what? Honestly, you were talking about them doing like interspersed clips. This might have been where that one would have gone.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
You know? But I feel like you can really only do this with a character as big as like Alice.
Yeah, I agree.
But then again, she didn't even die at Crystal Lake.
No, she died in her apartment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So never mind. Sandra it is.
But we cut to Tommy at the house, shining his flashlight on the circuit breaker. He looks around, dragging the weak beam of his light across the room as the score builds. At the other house, Ted is sitting and smoking, still watching the movie and still oblivious to the fact that Jimmy was just murdered mere feet away from him. In the kitchen, we look down at Jimmy's pinned and bloody hand as Jason takes a knife from the drawer and steps away. But upstairs in the bathroom, Sarah and Doug are in the shower together. We watch their silhouetted forms through the frosted glass door before joining them inside where they embrace and kiss. Just as things are heating up, we cut back downstairs where Ted suddenly looks bored.
Can I be honest for a second? I forgot that they were here.
Yeah. Well, things are picking up and we haven't seen them in a while.
Yeah.
Barbara Howard had said that it wasn't even a closed set when they did Judy Aronson's nude scenes. And she told them when she got the part that she was not doing nudity at all. They told her that she had to because everybody else was doing it themselves. And she was like, I'm okay with leaving. Like, I'm not doing that. So they came back and they were like, look, we'll do your nude scenes. We'll film it toward the end of filming and you can have a body double, but don't tell anybody else. So this is a body double.
Now I feel like you're fucking forcing people to do shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it's
it's got to be a secret.
Yeah.
Because if you're okay with doing it yourself, you wouldn't be like, well, if she gets one, I want one, because you're okay with doing it yourself.
Uh-huh.
So the concealment of that fact is a little suspicious and off-putting, honestly.
Yeah.
And for it to not even be a closed set. I mean, unless she didn't care. Maybe
That's true.
Maybe she didn't care. You know, we don't know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the fact that Barbara Howard brought it up is odd. But Ted brightens when he spots the teddy bear. He cuddles it and laughs at the woman on the screen, scrubbing herself in the bathtub. As the words flash on the screen, we are as well acquainted now as we ever will be. Ted gets up and goes over. He points his finger toward the naked silent film actress, asking her if she wants to give old teddy bear a kiss. But the film gives way to a white screen, and the reel starts to flutter loudly. Ted turns and looks right into the bright light of the projector, shielding his eyes. He laughs, assuming it to be Jimmy, but he's not laughing anymore when Jason stabs the knife through the screen and right into the back of Ted's head. He slides down, marring the slit white screen with his blood. Again, very fast.
Yeah.
There was more to this, they said, but it was cut.
Okay.
And Lawrence Monason said that he thought it might be interesting. Because he said that he was a young actor and he was like, no, everything has to be real. Like, I want it to be real, whatever. Ted's been sitting down here getting high. So maybe he should actually get high to film this death scene. So he went and smoked and said that it made him so paranoid that he couldn't even take direction from Zito, that it was a fucking horrible mistake and that he would not do it again. But this was one of the first deaths that was very heavily attacked by the MPAA. So it was cut down a lot. And Savini said, obviously, that they cast Lawrence Monason's head to stab through or whatever, but that so much of it is lost. Like, there was a lot more to this.
This seemed like a kill that would be more befitting in Friday the 13th 3D.
Yes.
Yeah.
Coming out of the projection screen at the person.
Right. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
But upstairs, Sarah reaches out and grabs a towel to wrap herself in before getting out of the shower. She pauses to kiss Doug again before stepping out and leaving him alone. Before she leaves the bathroom, Doug tells her that he thinks he's in heaven. Sarah replies quietly that she thinks she's in love. But when Doug asks, what? She pivots. I'll meet you in the bottom bunk. Wrapped in her towel, she steps out into the hallway. As Doug sings Led Zeppelin's Tangerine in the shower, Sarah goes into their shared room and starts to blow dry her hair. But Doug's singing is cut short when the lights in the bathroom turn off. Assuming it to be Sarah, he asks if she changed her mind. He invites her to come in. There's plenty of room. They could sing a duet. He waits for an answer, but the only response is the whisper of Jason's ominous theme as someone moves closer to the shower.
The timing of it is like he must have just barely
missed her,
passing her, and all. He's like, excuse me. Just get to the bathroom. It's like he is just making this house like his home.
Yeah.
Excuse me, is crazy.
Well,
excuse me, miss.
What's crazy is him just raw bar of soap.
Yes,
like,
my God, that's in like every movie though.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating when we make a movie. There's a washcloth,
Oh no, yeah.
a loofah, fucking something. Realizing now that the approaching figure isn't Sarah, Doug asks if it's Paul. When no one answers him still, he makes a joke about dropping the soap, and he's still fake laughing when Jason's hand comes crashing through that frosted glass door, gripping Doug by his face. Doug's feet slip helplessly against the shattered glass and dropped soap as blood runs down. We get a shot of Jason's mask before he brings his hand up, crushing the bones in Doug's face.
This looked brutal as hell.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was very impressed by it. I'm just thinking of Sarah in the other room drying her hair. And he's just like, just like getting killed. Nobody has any awareness in this fucking house.
No, none at all.
She's like, Jesus is love?
Yeah.
Like a king of the hill? No, but Zito said that Doug's death was supposed to go against this cliche from Psycho of women being killed in the shower.
Okay.
Peter Barton said that he had already been really injured on the set of The Powers of Matthew Starr. He had ended up with third-degree burns and had to have 9 operations, so he was terrified to do this. Oof. Like any kind of stunt, anything.
Yeah.
But Tom Savini said that he told Ted White to be careful with the head. This is a cast head from Peter Barton, that they needed to be careful with it because they only had one.
Oh.
But Zito immediately told him to just really get in there and go after it and make it really brutal. So it's like, okay. But Ted White said that despite this conflicting, direction, this is his favorite kill.
Okay.
And it is rough.
Yeah.
It's a good one. Still blow drying her hair down the hall, Sarah hears none of this. Her hair is still wet when she abandons the blow dryer and steps back into the hall. She lingers at the bathroom door, teasing that she came to hear Doug sing. Sarah pushes the door open with a smile, inviting her boyfriend. So sing. But this mirth is short-lived when she spots Doug, lying limply forward against the door, his blood running down the glass. As fog from the shower fills the room, Sarah lets loose a scream and calls out for Samantha, who nobody has seen since the party downstairs, but...
Oh.
Yeah.
She sprints down the stairs past the projector into the door. When she can't open it, she just continues to pull at the knob and scream. But suddenly an axe is thrown through the door, cutting through Sarah's towel and landing home in the center of her chest. Sarah falls onto her back, whimpering.
This shocked me as well because I thought that it was going to be her and the Jarvises.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like she escapes and then it's just them for the rest of the film with Jason.
Right.
To see her die as well, it's like, wow, they're really trying to get through these teens as quick as they
Yeah.
can.
Just immediately, yeah. Barbara Howard had said that she was told her character was so likable that watching her writhe on the floor in agony for as long as they had filmed would have gotten them an X rating, so they cut it down.
Wow.
But she did say that this was the most fun that she had during filming, was doing her death scene. That she had one regular blue towel and then one with the mold around her chest that had the axe in it.
Very
So it's
cool.
like, that's so
Yeah.
simple and it works. But she said that she had a blast and they did a pretty extended scene of her sobbing and rolling around on the floor and it's completely gone.
She's like, I didn't want to be in it anyway, so it was really good to get killed.
I loved
It's
dying.
my
and being
favorite
dead.
part.
Back at the Jarvises, Tommy walks slowly down the stairs while Jason's theme whispers. The lights are back on, but there's someone thudding and trying to get in through the front door. Tommy watches fearfully as someone punches through the glass window, but in an odd cut, Rob and Trish step inside. Was that weird to anybody
No, it
else?
was.
It was.
Rob peers into the next room and looks around as Trish pulls her brother into a hug, thanking God as she squeezes him. She asks if their mom is back yet, and when Tommy says she isn't, Trish decides that she's going to call for help. She goes into the kitchen as we watch her through the window. Tommy asks Rob what's going on while Trish places her emergency phone call. But outside, Jason's wet hands with their long and thick nails reach up and pull down the phone box from the side of the house. Of course, Trish is unable to complete her call. Arming himself with his machete, Rob declares that he's going next door. Trish insists that she's going with him, and Rob puts up the most minimal fight before accepting. Trish leaves with Rob, leaving Tommy alone again, with his sister telling him to lock the door, despite the hole they just punched through the window. And Rob telling him to hold down the fort. When Trish and Rob step outside, we see that they have also taken Gordon with them,
Yeah, you took the fucking dog.
Unbelievable.
fully leaving her little brother defenseless.
I thought the whole point was that Tommy was alone and we got to get back to him.
Yes.
Like, all right, and take all the weapons too.
Yeah.
I want every knife over on the other side.
Right, lock the door. Wait on the porch. We'll be right back.
I couldn't believe it. They cross the wet grounds over to the house next door where the light from the spent projection still flickers in the window. They pause at the door, the hole from the axe marring its center, and Rob declares that he's been here. Trish wonders in a whisper, what if he's still here? Rob hands her his machete and implores her to take it. Rob, Trish, and Gordon finally enter the house. They look around cautiously as they cross the living room, passing the fluttering projector. As they step into the kitchen, though, it finally dies. And in the new darkness, Rob decides that he's going downstairs. He tells Trish to stay here with Gordon, and when she protests, he insists. With a knife in one hand and a flashlight in the other, Rob slowly descends the basement steps as Trish stands by pensively. Rob slides his light across the room, illuminating stored items and tools. But upstairs, Gordon sprints off, whimpering. Trish calls after him in a desperate whisper, but the dog disappears up the stairs. Suddenly and appallingly, we watch as Gordon is thrown through the glass of an upstairs window. The dog falls or honestly just jumps out into the rain. It is not clear, but at the sound of shattering glass, Trish slowly walks up to the second floor.
I
couldn't believe it.
I could not stop laughing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I, for some reason, I missed the part of being thrown. So I
Yeah.
thought
No, me too.
I thought that Gordon's like, fuck this.
Well, we don't know.
So it's
Okay,
possible.
yeah.
we don't
that
know.
He
Yeah.
was that scared.
Yeah, it is. Listen, okay, so Zito had said that the dog window sequence was a huge issue. There was a struggle in the script with whether Jason threw Gordon or Gordon jumped on his own. We do not know. And in the film, he thinks that it's ambiguous. The thought of adding they had thought of adding a shot of Gordon running off, confirmed to be alive still. But Zito said that he decided that if he's killing all these teens, he's got to be okay with potentially killing a dog too. So what they ultimately did was just have a stunt dog jump through a plane of glass.
I'm sorry, a stunt dog, you said?
Stunt dog. Jump through a plane of glass. It does
in slow motion.
Yeah.
Slow motion. It does look like he just jumps.
Yes.
But I feel like if Gordon was that afraid, he would not have run up the stairs to begin with and then jumped out of the window.
Well, maybe he got to the room and turned around. Teen Jason
He
was
said,
like,
Right.
fuck
No.
that.
fuck all that. Yeah.
This looked so funny. I don't, and again, he said it's ambiguous. I don't know what we're supposed to take away from this. I do know we never see Gordon again.
No.
What an odd thing.
Yeah, and I think
so
that's why I
bizarre.
thought he jumped and ran away.
Yeah.
Because we don't see him. I was like, oh, he fucking just
And it's clear the dog is jumping.
Yes.
Like, that's obvious. So we'll just say that. And Gordon, he's somewhere safe. He got the fuck out of Dodge. But it just really tickled me because that is truly the last thing I was expecting it to cut to after Gordon ran up the stairs.
I will give this movie that. And what we've covered, have we ever seen a dog say fuck it or an animal and just jump out the window and take off?
That's
to
a new
safety?
one.
Yeah.
I think so. At the Jarvis house, Tommy is rummaging through Rob's bag. He rifles through all of the collected newspaper clippings of Jason's shenanigans before finally pausing on the artist's rendition of young Jason. Trish walks down the hall of the second floor where the cloud of steam from the shower has spilled out. She walks into the bathroom and finds the shattered shower door, the blood lining the rim of the tub. She follows the trail to find Doug, stabbed through the neck and pinned up on the wall, face down. So Jason came back up here and did this because this isn't what it was.
No.
Yeah.
Trish screams. She sprints down the stairs, alerting Rob that he's here. She finds him in the basement and tells him that Jason is here and she knows that he killed all of them. Rob hurries up the stairs with her, but his foot falls through one of the stairs. Trish helps him to pull it free, and Rob decides that he's going to go back down for his knife. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Why is your knife down there?
I don't know. That's a great question, too.
Trish screams at him not to do this, and he should have listened because Jason's hulking form suddenly stands up from the shadows of the basement. He immediately grabs hold of Rob, and Rob is like, oh my God.
Rob, why'd you come over here?
Why? And why was Jason waiting? Because he's been down here with Rob this whole time. And also upstairs with Gordon.
I was going to say, what did Gordon leap away from then?
He saw Doug's body.
He's like, oh, shit.
Jason pushes him up against shelving on the wall and grabs a gardening tool from the box at his side. He raises it high and stabs Rob again and again. As he's being murdered, Rob implores Trish to run, but Trish waits a long time before finally hurrying up the stairs, screaming. Rob literally goes, "He's killing me!"
He says it a few times.
Hey, well, dude, as long as this goes on, Trish is standing there holding a machete. Do something.
Yeah.
Fuck you,
No,
Trish.
Anything. You just killed Rob Dyer.
Yeah, straight up.
That was you.
Yeah. It was weird because it seemed like she didn't fully understand what he was saying.
He's like, bitch,
yeah.
he's killing me.
He is actively killing me. I just don't understand.
Eric Anderson said that the casting director told him, because again, he had never seen these films, that it's just a bunch of dumb and sex-crazed kids who get killed one by one. And when they die, the audience cheers. So he should take on the task that when he dies, no one cheers. She wanted him to be so likable that this was not a death that any of us wanted.
I mean, I didn't have enough time with Rob Dyer.
Yeah.
I love that you first and last him. He also said that he thought that he's killing me line was dumb, but that it did feel right in the moment. He said that.
Okay.
Zito was like, well, actually, a lot of people called it silly, but it's based off of a real attack that he read about in New York City.
I know what Zito's talking about.
But he didn't cite that.
not-
He's talking about a man. Like, I know what you're thinking of.
Yeah.
That's not what he describes at all. But he said that really, that was kind of inspiration, but not really. Like, really for him, it's just a very shrill and horrible conversation between a victim and a killer.
I feel like we've all turned against Zito.
Yeah.
I feel it in the room.
We're all voting at tribal council for,
Yes.
for Zito, right? We have formed an alliance.
Yeah. I don't know what's gone on in this episode, but it's really just taken a turn.
The tide has turned. Trish pauses for a moment at the basement door before running back in when Rob goes silent. The last thing he said was, "He's killing me." What do you think happened in there?
Yeah.
She starts down the stairs and spots Rob crumpled into a heap on the floor. When she finally decides to head back up, Jason's hand thrusts through the broken stair and grabs a hold of her foot. Trish screams and slashes at her hand and wrist with the machete before he lets go. So this was another one. They had filmed a lot more with Rob's death. They had a rig with a bunch of blood inside of it, and Eric Anderson had makeup done with wounds in his face from the garden tool.
Oh.
But Zito said that none of it was necessary because the horror comes from Rob's screams, not anything that we see. So this is a pretty bloodless and woundless, goreless death.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a whimper.
Ho-hum.
Yeah.
But Trish flees, and when she flings the front door open, she finds Terry's body, bruised and bloody, lying on the porch. Instead of continuing forward, she runs back into the house. She opens the back door in the kitchen and finds Jimmy, suspended from thick nails hammered into his hands, blocking her way. Unable to will herself past the dead bodies, Trish uses a chair to smash open the kitchen window and climb out. This was really giving Michael Myers to me.
Yeah.
Big time.
The fact of her going into this house of horrors, finding all these corpses, and then running across the street to the house.
Yeah.
It is beginning where the franchise started, which is ripping off Halloween.
True.
Yeah.
Full circle.
It did remind me when I first seen it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that looks familiar. But then I just kind of...
Moving on. But she does run through the rain screaming, and Tommy hears his sister. He rushes to open the door as she approaches.
Tommy.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
Like Tommy Doyle.
He's not at the McKinseys, though.
No. Not yet.
But she rushes inside, and as she locks the front door behind her, she confirms with her brother that the rest of the doors are locked. She tells him to get a hammer and nails, and when Tommy asks if he's here, she's like, yes!
She's like, do as I say!
Tommy brings her the supplies, and she starts hammering nails into the front door. But next door, Jason pulls Jimmy's body down, dragging his hands and ripping the flesh open from the nails. That looked great and horrible. He throws the body down and rushes off into the storm. Meanwhile, Trish is making sure that all the big and curtainless windows are locked, but she and Tommy scream when suddenly Rob's body is thrown in through one of the windows, shattering it and spraying glass inside. Jason does love to do this. They look down at his bloody body, the tool used to kill him jutting out the side of his head. Trish covers her face and sobs before kneeling next to Rob's body. She's left her brother alone again, and Jason comes crashing through the window behind him and wraps the boy in his arms. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's sad that Rob's dead. You've known him for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, these windows are fucking huge, and Jason is outside because he just threw this body in.
Yeah.
She's like, Tommy, be fine. I need to cry over my lost love.
I think he waved at her through the window.
Trish runs over and Tommy screams for help as she bashes Jason in the head again and again with the hammer. Finally, she turns it around and swings, sinking the clawed end into the side of Jason's neck. This finally prompts him to let go of Tommy. So, Corey Feldman was like 11 or 12 at the time. He said that everyone on set was very kind to him. Kimberly Beck said that, again, she was also a child actor. She knew how difficult it could be, and that Corey Feldman's mother had already been replaced as his guardian with his grandfather, who everyone said was really mean. So everyone just kind of wanted to protect this kid, you know? She and Eric Anderson even took Corey Feldman trick-or-treating the day that they started filming because it was Halloween.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Everyone just really liked him. They thought he was a really sweet kid. Everyone except for Ted White. Corey Feldman said that Ted White was kind of mean and he was actually a little afraid of him. So when he grabbed him through the window, Corey Feldman was so terrified that after they cut, he was crying hysterically and he was inconsolable after. He says this in the documentary. Once I read the book, I had a little more context for this. Ted White said, and I quote, "Corey was a mean little bastard. Meanest goddamn little kid I ever worked with. That kid irritated the hell out of me. I wanted to grab him and kick his ass so many times." He said that the assistant director told him, "That little shit is going to be expecting you. You got to scare the hell out of him." So Ted White said that he waited longer than he was supposed to burst through the window. And when he grabbed Corey Feldman, he shook him as hard as he possibly could. So that, makes sense why Corey Feldman was fucking traumatized filming this. And what the hell, Ted White?
Yeah, Jesus, dude.
He might get voted off next week.
I was going to say, I feel like we've all turned against Ted White.
Yeah, and just openly being like, I fucking hated that kid.
That child.
He talked shit about him in the documentary too. He just talked shit about him more in the book.
Dude, if you're 58 and you're beefing with a 10-year-old,
yeah,
maybe Zito was right.
Yeah.
No,
I'm just kidding. No, fuck them both. Fuck them both.
But as Jason stumbles backwards, grabbing at the hammer, Trish and Tommy run toward the stairs. Jason isn't deterred for long, though. He crashes through the front door, and when the siblings freeze, he throws the hammer. It lands hard in the wall, and Trish and Tommy run upstairs. They go to Tommy's bedroom, and they work together to push Tommy's huge shelf in front of the door. With that done, they cower at the other end of the room, holding on to each other. After a moment, the doorknob starts to rattle, and when the door doesn't open for him, Jason begins to bang on it, thudding the shelf in front of it. When the sounds stop, Trish wonders what he's doing, and it's only a brief moment before Jason axes the door a question, cutting through the wood like Jack Torrance. He reaches in to unlock the door for himself, but as he takes his time figuring out the complexities of the knob...
We don't have these in the wilderness.
Yeah.
I was all, here's Jason and everything, but now I don't know what I'm doing.
Little help?
No!
Trish snatches up the TV and runs across the room. She throws it against Jason's head where it breaks in a blast of sparks. Jason goes down. Trish goes back for her brother, and they peer through the broken door to find Jason sprawled on his back in the hallway, his head moving slightly. Trish tells Tommy in a whisper that she's going to get Jason out of the house, and when she does, Tommy needs to run like hell. Tommy nods his agreement before looking down fearfully at Jason.
Literally, now do as I say.
Yeah.
It's the same moment.
Yeah. I just... The window's right there. We know they're right behind you.
Yeah.
Why are we not... We closed the blinds earlier.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we just not climbing out? We can run away together, little brother.
Yeah, if the dog could fucking
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
leap out, we can do something.
And Rob Dyer fixed our car.
He
so
did.
We
yeah.
can drive off into the night.
The late Rob Dyer.
Yeah.
Dearly departed Rob Dyer. Trish opens the door and inches past Jason slowly, but right when she's by his head, Jason stops playing possum and swings the axe, embedding it in the wall right next to Trish. She screams and falls down, scrambling away from Jason as he gets to his feet. Tommy cries out for his sister, and this pulls Jason's attention. And for a moment, he looks between the two of them, trying to decide. I laughed out loud.
Yes.
Because he's like, oh, fuck. Which one? Like, I laughed. When Tommy steps back into his room, Jason ultimately decides on Trish, chasing her as she sprints screaming down the stairs. He follows her out of the house and out into the storm, chasing her all the way next door. She runs right back upstairs in this house, and when Jason has her cornered in the hall, she does the only thing she can, inspired by fucking Gordon, wherever he may be. Trish runs to the end of the hall and jumps through the window, flipping out onto the landing and rolling off. She lands on the wet ground below as pieces of the broken wood railing rain down on her. Jason stares down from the broken window where she lays motionless on the ground. This again was also in slow motion.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're doing the dice move too much.
Yeah.
They're really proud of these shots, man.
Well, and again, for me, it's just the reverse of Michael Myers
Right.
and Laurie Strode.
Yeah, it is. It is. When he's like, where is she?
Yeah.
Once she starts moving, though, he disappears back into the house. Trish struggles, but she makes it back onto her feet. Back in the Jarvis house, though, Tommy is wetting his hair in the bathroom. There are streaks of dark makeup under his eyes, and pinned next to the mirror is his inspiration photo, the artist's rendering of a young Jason Voorhees.
I know where this is going.
Yeah.
But we don't have 3 to 6 hours for application. Like, you need... Your sister is running for her life.
Yeah.
And he's on the prowl.
Yep.
He's still here.
Yeah.
I thought because again we are living in this area,
Right.
that maybe there was already a newspaper in the house, and maybe since Tommy already customizes and builds these masks, maybe he already made one that was inspired by Jason.
I feel like that would be much
Yep.
better.
You know, I thought maybe that could happen, but this is fine too. When Jason makes it outside, Trish isn't there anymore, even though he shot her 6 times.
Yeah.
But she makes it back home, where Tommy is upstairs haphazardly cutting his hair in the bathroom. Once she enters, he calls out to her somehow, but Trish cries. She reminds him that he was supposed to leave, and he was.
He was.
So that makes it even funnier. The score shifts as Jason steps up to the broken door. He moves silently, but Trish senses him and swings the machete. Tommy is still going ham on his hair in the bathroom as Trish and Jason go toe to toe. This is funny too. He's like, just a minute.
Yeah.
She backs up, continually swinging at Jason, but she finally lands one of these blows with the machete home, right in Jason's grasping hand. She runs away, but we're in Jason's POV as he looks down at his injury, his hand flayed in 2 between his ring and middle finger. So I saw a behind the scenes little clip, and it's Tom Savini holding the hand that she slashes.
Really?
Because, I mean, he's, I guess, directing his gags, you know?
The hand is one of those things that, like, you wince.
Oh,
yes.
It looks legitimately like you feel it.
yeah. It's just because how good it looks.
And it does. But upstairs, Tommy's hair is coated with shaving cream now. And he's fully shaving it with a razor.
You better be going somewhere with it.
No shit.
I will say, Tommy is shaving his head, okay? Corey Feldman is wearing a bald cap
Yeah.
when we see the result of this. But Zito wanted him to really shave his head. His guardians told Zito no because TV pilot season was coming up and they didn't want Corey Feldman to be bald for it. So Zito goes to the child, Corey Feldman, and is like, how about this? If you shave your head, I'll shave my head. And Corey Feldman, the child, is like, oh, okay, that sounds cool. But the guardians are still like, we said no.
Yeah.
I could not believe that he went to the kid and was like, how about we do? Like, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
And from what we know of Zito, I don't think he would have followed through on the deal.
He's like, oh man,
yeah,
but
afterwards.
he's like, TV pilot season's coming up.
It's like Zito doesn't.
Zito can't be bald.
Zito can't be bald for TV pilot season.
Downstairs, Trish screams at her brother to get out of here. Jason is on her ass again, and she promises him, I'll give you something to remember us by. She swings the machete again and buries it in his chest. Jason grunts, and in his fury, he swipes the lamp over. The bulb crashes, and the room is left in darkness. Jason gets Trish down on the ground. As she fights and screams, Tommy runs down from the 2nd floor. His eyes darkened and his head shaved bald. Despite Trish's protest, Tommy calls Jason's name twice to get his attention. When Jason turns and sees Tommy now, he stands and abandons Trish. Tommy backs up against the wall as Jason approaches, and he asks, do you remember me, Jason? Jason, don't you remember? He keeps asking him, and Jason is entranced, walking steadily closer and reaching toward him. Trish has gotten back to her feet and walks up behind Jason, raising the machete high above her head. The score swells as Trish swings and knocks off Jason's mask. It falls to the rug in slow motion, and similarly, Trish lets go of the bloody machete and it clatters to the ground. Jason turns to her with his disfigured face, his jutting yellow teeth, his drooping right eye, the burned skin on the side of his face where his split open head is painted it red with his blood. Trish looks at him with horror. She covers her mouth and screams, backing away. This was a 4.5 hour makeup job.
God damn.
On his face. And Savini said that he loved it and that it was based off of the work that he did on Child Jason in the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But that it was created when Canham was still involved and that he physically had nothing to do with the sculpt. But that he does feel like it's a good representation of that child grown up. I think he said like that was a child and now he's a 35-year-old man. I was like, 35. All right. But yeah, this was still when Canham was on board that I guess this was the first thing they sculpted.
Okay.
I mean, it's memorable.
It's great. I think it's great.
Yeah.
But Jason's attention is on Trish now, and Tommy takes this opportunity to hop down the stairs and snatch up the bloody machete. Trish sobs and cowers, but Jason turns just in time as Tommy swings. The blade of the machete is buried deep in the side of Jason's face. Trish screams as blood pours from his head. He sinks down to his knees and finally falls forward, where the handle of the machete hits the floor. Jason's face contorts as his head slides down the blade. Trish quiets down and looks up at her newly bald brother, who picks up the machete. Very quickly, as I said before, there were a lot of scenes cut, and there was one when Tommy takes Rob up to his room. Remember, I was like, I'll tell you later. He had a microwave that he had taken apart and rigged up with voltage that went from 1 to 10 on like a knob. He shows Rob on a 1, it melts a toy soldier. That's what he was going to show Rob up in his room.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
At the end, what Savini wanted instead of this machete was for Tommy to turn the device up to 10 and point it at Jason, melting his head from the inside.
Oh.
Okay.
But when he pitched it, they said that they really wanted to keep in line with people killing and being killed by household items. He said he was like, a microwave is a household item, but he ended up letting it go. He said that in his mind, he thought it was just too sci-fi for what they were trying to do.
I mean, I don't...
Yeah. So John Volich was messing around in their shop and they're like, how do we kill him? Like, what are we supposed to do? And he picked up a machete that they had used to kill zombies with on Dawn of the Dead.
Oh.
And he said, why don't we just use this? So Savini ran with the idea and he added in the inverse shot of the blade going in. Like they just reversed it.
Yeah.
So it was fast. And Jason sliding down the machete. So to keep this, that's why everything else was cut so severely, because they wanted this in.
Okay, that makes sense.
And they would not compromise on the machete going in and on Jason sliding down the blade.
Yeah.
So they made a fully articulated cable-controlled head for Jason, and there was also someone with their hand inside with a tongue on their fingers wiggling it around. I think it looks great because you see his face moving as it's sliding down the blade. But the machete was on a track inside of the head, and they said that they lost track on how many times they had to reshoot it for the ratings board because they were not willing to lose this. They lost so much already. They were not willing to lose this finale.
Yeah.
And I'm glad they stuck to their guns because I think it looks really fucking cool.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, if you're really looking at it as this is the death of Jason.
Exactly.
It's
You
great.
need something huge.
Mm-hmm.
Trish goes over to Tommy and hugs him, and they sob together, oblivious to Jason's twitching fingers. But when his hand moves again, Tommy snaps into action. He pulls away from his sister and raises the machete again. The score mounts as Tommy hacks at Jason again and again. Trish cries out for her brother and screams his name to stop him, but Tommy continues to hack away in slow motion, demanding that Jason die, die, die. And the scene dissolves into a bright white.
You're scaring your mother. God damn, Tommy. You know that he had that in you all the time?
Yeah.
It made me think. We were at a gathering one time and John Paul's already looking at me. I wonder if you remember. We were at a family gathering one time and there was a kid there. We were doing the piñata and he hit the piñata and it went down and he was doing that. Die, hitting it with the stick again and again. And everybody's filming and like, because the kids were doing the piñata or whatever. Ari and Jackson were probably like 3 and 2. Like they were little. And John Paul's like, oh my God, is he okay? Like as people were
Is he okay? It ends up on all the videos.
It had to have. And I was fucking crying laughing like because he was like, oh my God.
Wow, he was going through some shit.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah. Nobody else seen. I saw. I saw.
It really reminded me of this. But let's talk about Tommy real quick. Firstly, Cohen had said that ending Jason's life with him seeing himself just felt right. But let me tell you what he was thinking of doing. What he had wanted was a moment where Jason tries to touch Trish's breast. And in this moment, Jason realizes that maybe there's something better than killing. Hold on.
I think we already hate
Hold
it,
on.
but please continue.
Yeah.
We know who's getting voted off the island.
Yeah.
But he's acting in this moment, he's acting in amorousness instead of murderousness. And in this moment of humanity, it's here that he's finally able to be killed. And it's almost, to Cohen, sympathetic when Jason dies. Zito said no.
He's like, let's just dress the kid up like Uncle Fester.
Yeah.
That's much better.
I got a better idea.
I don't understand. It's the same thing with Leatherface. We don't need that.
No,
it's not going to work.
I'm sorry. Jason grabbing this woman's breast is not that. I'm like, aw. Like, that's not when I feel sympathy for him. That would not make me feel sympathy for him. I would think that he was like warped by killing so many teens that were having sex that it's crossed in his mind.
Right.
I don't think this is a human moment of sympathy.
It's not King Kong.
No. Yeah.
Because he would have to do himself, and he's like, "Oh, I'm horny. Nope,
I'm
can't have
dead.
that."
I don't like when people are horny.
Yeah.
And then he slides down the blade.
Yeah.
Himself.
But back to Tommy. Corey Feldman said that he was incredibly sick during this scene. He said his fever was 101 or 102. And he did have makeup around his eyes, but his eyes really did have bags under them because he felt awful. But he said that Zito having him hack away with this machete again and again and do take after take after take when he felt so awful and Zito had no sympathy for him. He said that when he's hacking away at Jason, he is thinking about Joe Zito.
Oh, wow.
Well, I don't have a lot to say about that.
I mean, it worked for him as motivation.
Yeah, I mean, there's your motivation.
Yeah.
My girl's in the next room. Sometimes I wish she was you. But, you know, they got the shot.
Yeah.
We cut to a hospital room where Trish lies in the bed. The doctor, played by Paul Lukather, tells a cop, played by Gene Ross, that her shoulder will need surgery, but they can wait until she's a better candidate. The cop implores her warmly to just get some rest, but Trish asserts that neither of them have answered her question. The doctor reasons that under extreme duress, people are capable of extraordinary behavior. That's what happened to Tommy when he wildly attacked the killer. At that moment, it was completely normal for him to protect himself. I feel like the cop standing here should have been Mrs. Jarvis. I think that what we are implying at the end of this film, this cycle continuing with a mother and potentially son or whatever.
Okay.
Like, I think that whether we saw it explicitly play out on film or not, and this really was the last one and we end it here, I think that would be interesting. And the mother surviving period from maybe Jason having her captive or something. Like, I haven't worked that part out in my head, but I think that she should be here because the cop does not give a fuck that she needs shoulder surgery.
No, it's just a missed opportunity. I don't understand why they didn't.
Yeah.
And the fact that we never see her die.
Yeah.
And we don't get that dream sequence. We don't get anything.
No.
Like, she turns and is like, and that's all. But anyway, Trish looks uneasy when the doctor assures her that Tommy is going to be just fine. But for now, they just need her to rest. Trish asks if she can see her brother, and the doctor concedes that she can, but only for a minute. He and the cop leave, and we press in on Trish. With a twinkle in the score, Tommy is standing in the doorway, still crudely bald. He's standing in the doorway like Josh in Insidious.
Yeah. There's clearly something wrong.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
He rushes over to his sister and hugs her tight as Jason's theme whistles in the score. Tommy hugs his sister, squeezing his eyes shut, but suddenly he opens them and stares at us quite alarmingly.
Huh.
Cohen said that the point is that horror is contagious, and that if he had been offered to do 6 more Jason films, they all wouldn't be about Tommy. Even though this could be a setup for potentially more films with Corey Feldman, if he had his way, it would start there and then be an exploration on horror being passed on. Which I do like.
Yeah.
I liked it in Halloween.
It's an interesting way to go.
It's an interesting concept.
It's interesting.
But it all goes white again before it cuts to black and the credits roll. So, what did you guys think of Friday the 13th, the final chapter?
What an interesting ending.
Mm-hmm.
So Tommy's Jason? We don't refer
Tommy's evil.
Right, we don't refer to him as Tommy anymore. Is it Jason or
It's just the evil. I
just
think.
the evil?
I don't
Yeah.
know.
Well, we never established that evil's jumping like that here or in this universe, so I don't understand how
No, it's really
this
just
is
been,
happening. Yeah.
It's really just been the one guy.
Yes, the one time.
And I don't even think that Jason, it was evil.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be like revenge.
Yeah.
Excuse me. He didn't say evil. He said horror.
He's horror?
Well, you said horror already. It just
Yeah.
didn't make any goddamn sense to me.
Yeah.
So we're
I
just
just
like,
wanted to-
we're talking about evil.
Yeah.
So that's,
I just wanted to get the quote right.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's the ending was a little. Okay. I did have a lot of fun. The kills are, if they're not fast, the ones we do get to see are good. The rest of them, they are pretty fast, and I did have a lot of fun. But man, I think the problem for me with the movie, honestly, after a while, is just them waiting for them to die or them waiting for their next cue.
Mm-hmm.
You had no reason to go back into that basement, Rob, but you did anyway. You like, oh my God, I tripped, help. And then got attacked.
He's
then,
killing me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
then this dude's yelling at you, and then you're like, is he serious or is he just being dramatic so like I can go baby him or like what's going on? I don't understand why she took so long to leave, her leaving Tommy by himself, that like the mom going for a run and then coming, like it was just so weird to see everybody waiting for their opportunity to either die or just disappear. But even that, I still did have fun. I still did like what was going on. I know after a while, I still didn't know how to feel, but overall, the whole movie, it is a fun movie. It is what it is, and it does what it's supposed to do.
I think that's exactly right. I mean, it's just a fun little slasher.
Mm-hmm.
It has good effects. It has a lot of bodies for the killer to partake.
Yeah.
I think that the more we talked about it, the more and more I got upset about this Mrs. Jarvis situation.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
And I feel like it is right there in front of you for the taking.
Yeah.
You've introduced this element that can mean so much, and especially if you're trying to do a full circle
End
thing.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
To end this franchise with this film, it's right there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so strange that they didn't go for it really in any way at all.
Yeah.
Not even like, hinting at something or anything. They just dropped it.
Yeah.
She walks out into the rain and out of this film forever.
Yeah.
Sayonara.
And that's a really weird thing to me. But outside of that, I mean, it's exactly as you said. You get what you get. It's Friday the 13th, part 4.
Yes.
And it's basically your 80s slasher.
Yeah.
You get everything that you expect to get. And honestly, not much of a fit to throw
Yeah.
Yeah.
for that. I had fun, and it's one of the better sequels that we've covered for this franchise.
Yeah.
I don't know where it goes from here because I was told that Jason has died.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is it.
So-
This is the final chapter.
It says it in the title.
Yeah.
The title's not going to lie to us.
I mean, unless a dog pisses fire. I don't really know where to go
Which
from
could
here.
happen, you know? Yeah, I totally agree. I actually really did have fun with this one. I think that it really is just exactly what you want it to be. This isn't, I was going to say this isn't a plot that can get super convoluted or anything, but it is a little convoluted. It is a little confusing. But I mean, if you're bought in enough to be watching part 4, you already know what it is. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think that I appreciate that more effort was put into the teens that are being killed. I know that about 90% of the personality was just being horned up, but I mean, at least it was something, they had some banter between the two of them. There was a little bit of drama with this Tina being like, I'm about to fuck your man in front of you. Yeah. And Paul being like, I guess she's about to fuck me in front of you. Like, I mean, there was some lemon square shit going on. There was shit, you know what I mean? It was an entertaining watch. The kills were really cool. I think if I could complain anything about the kills, I would just want more of them. More
not quantity.
Not quantity, but not cutting away as soon
almost
as it happens.
Every time.
Yeah.
And Tom Savini said it best that some of them are almost subliminal because you're filling in the rest of it. I liked it in part 2 with Jenny when she psychologically appealed to this traumatized quote unquote monster. Mm-hmm. I think that we're kind of getting the same thing with Tommy here. Maybe not as effective for me as it was with Jenny, but I do appreciate us going back to that because Jason, it works for him. Yeah. he's susceptible to it. Okay. Yeah. I do kind of lament what could have been with Mrs. Jarvis, or kind of exploring that theme of mothers and, a bond between mother and child, because I think that is so, so important to this franchise. And if we were ending it here, I would love to see that come back. I don't know. I think that, again, you can't complain too much because you know what this franchise is. And I think that last year when we did part 3, I think we were asking I just want to get it. I just want to get the appeal. Mm-hmm. I just want to get what makes these so fun. And I'll say for me with the final chapter, I get it. I understand because I did have fun with this.
Yeah, I would agree.
And I didn't because again, part 3 was it was something else. And we're getting in even deeper. And again, I know that we go to space at one point. We go to New York. Like, I know that Jason be traveling and getting crazy. I know it gets wild.
Right.
So with part 4, I don't know what to expect going in. I liked it. I thought that it was fun. Is it amazing? No. Still is Friday the 13th, and we can kind of go into ratings as well. Mm-hmm. Is this my franchise? It's not. But I get why it's appealing, at least in this film, and I get why it's fun. And if it's buckle up and we're riding the roller coaster from here, I am excited to see where it goes.
Yeah.
This is not the best movie I've ever seen. This is not the best sequel I've ever seen. I do think so far it is the best Friday the 13th sequel that I've seen, but it does what it's supposed to do, and you can't really get mad at it for that. So, on a scale from 1 to 10, faux fatal finales, and I know we will be adjusting in the future, but based off the scores I've given the previous films, I today am giving Friday the 13th, the final chapter, 6.5 out of 10 faux fatal finales. I think this film is an 80s slasher that has horny teens and cool kills and what would have been, I think, a pretty decent end, aside from missed opportunities in storytelling that we've already gone over several times. I think that it's a decent end to this story. Bringing it back to his childhood for himself, not bad.
Right. Not
too shabby. But I will now open up the floor to you.
I know we say it all the time. I think I would just be repeating myself. I will agree with that. I think out of what we were waiting for, this is where it's, I get it. Like you were saying. I can understand from here Not saying that the other movies are bad, but this Jason was a little different because what we've gotten in the first 3 was the slow, steady, silent stalker. Here, he's juking people and he's moving around and
he was running,
he's kicking doors. Yeah, like he didn't give a fuck. So it was a little odd to see a different kind of Jason here, but he still didn't say anything. He still had the mask, the overalls or coveralls or whatever, and he's he had his machete and he was killing folks.
Yeah,
and I guess that is what Jason does. I like I said, the ending wasn't my favorite, but I will fully agree with that. From here, I'm ready to see what's going on with Jason.
How are y'all bringing him back?
Yeah.
How are y'all bringing him back?
Because this is the final chapter?
Allegedly.
yeah.
Yeah, allegedly. But I did have a lot of fun talking about it, watching it. And I agree. I wouldn't even say that I wouldn't watch it again. I would watch it again. And like you said at the very beginning, this isn't all our favorite franchise, but I understand. And from here, I do get it. Okay. This was what we were waiting for, and now I guess it's time to go from here. But for this movie, Friday the 13th, the final chapter, on a scale from 1 to 10, faux fatal finales, I'm going to give the final chapter a 6 out of 10. I did, and I know it might sound a little kind of low or whatever, but I did have fun. Again, this isn't, you know what I mean? This isn't our franchise. Nobody's really familiar with it. But hey, and you also said too, babe, we will retool it as the more we get in. I am ready. I'll admit I'm ready from here on to see what's going on.
Same.
And I mean, honestly, when you look at it, imagine watching this film and also having the nostalgia built into it.
Yeah.
I bet that would raise it even more.
Hell yeah.
But I mean, again, I think it's just repeating what everyone said. We've been kind of questing for the answer why people love this franchise so much.
Yeah.
Because it just did not completely resonate with us beyond the first film. And this is absolutely the one that answers that question for us.
Oh, yeah.
And so I am glad to have reached this part of the franchise. And it does only intrigue me because I'm like, what the hell are they going to do next?
Yeah.
Is Tommy Jarvis going to be a character that pops up?
It's a good question.
I hope so.
Because I think that he kind of has to be.
Yeah.
I am very intrigued. Can't get past this Mrs. Jarvis erasure. It's very bothersome to me. But I think that you get exactly what you expect with this film. And just one more time, I want to shout out the music. I love the music in this film.
No, it's
yeah.
great.
Yeah.
It is so good. But I do think that this one has led me in the right direction to maybe say, okay, well, let's see what else this franchise has to offer.
Yeah.
So for me, out of 10 faux fatal finales, I am going to give Friday the 13th the final chapter. Also, 6 out of 10 faux fatal finales. We're talking about evil, not horror, apparently.
Yeah.
So there it is.
Hey, Jason, moving up in the world.
Yeah.
Well, that's all from us at Pod Mortem. What would you rate Friday the 13th, the final chapter, and what should we watch next? Let us know on Instagram at the Pod Mortem. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and like our Stairhole Productions page on Facebook. Be sure to follow each of us on Instagram and Blue Sky at Blood and Smoke, at Juggalo Daddy 84, and at Travis MWH. Thanks again to Original Cinematic for sponsoring this week's episode. Please consider pledging to our Patreon, where you'll get over 200 hours of bonus content, our monthly schedule, access to our Discord server, and the opportunity to help us decide which films to cover. And if you're looking for Pod Mortem or Stairhole Productions merch, follow the link in our episode notes. Stay tuned until after the music for a special shout out to our Wendigo Getter patrons. And remember, even when you gain the upper hand, sometimes it's best to keep your distance. Just because you weren't caught doesn't mean you didn't catch something yourself. Until next time. Thank you for staying tuned for a special thank you to our Wendigo Getter patrons.
Woo! Yeah!
Very good. A special thank you to Chris Ontiveros, Kristen Lofton, Megan Martinez, Kimberly Bass, Sophie Hodson, Anthony Jerome M., Jordan Nash, Kent Morton, Lala Thomas, Travis Anissa Hunter, Miguel Myers ATX, Jennifer Perez, Allison O'Neill, Carissa, TJ and Angie Bronson, Andy Teague, Applin Ontiveros, Karima Rhodes, Kimberly Kleindienst, Sydney Smith, Bobby Holmes, Donna Eason, JD Rizak, Molly Gerhart, Armand Spasto, Aaron Aguirre, Eggy, William Berry, Charity Oxner, Amanda Six, Mandy Rainwater, Eden, Jordan Roberts, Dylan, Liz Heath, Spencer Montalvo, Pancake the Panda, John Ramos, Michael Newting, Alexis Roberts, Dan Laveau, Itzy M., Gary Horton, Kate Lamp, Carlos and Sydney, Jessica Hunter, Helena Rudder, Alan Johnston, Mariah, Livy Fun, Scott Troutman Wise, Towton Watson, Mozzie Bear, Dave Burke, Emma Hagel Kissinger, Valerie G, Emiliana, CB, Taylor Santana, Will Lewison, Angelique, Smelly Poo Poo Head, Beth Bauer, Cookie, Esperanza J, Jason Kyle OKC, Joshua Rumley, Danielle Peralta, Brandon, Sawyer Reese Farr, Sahara, Girl That's Scary, Cassandra, Andrea Simmons, Ashley Higuera, William and Xxena Rush, Ryan Brom, Megan Ochoa, Laura Lassiter, Eileen O, Marissa E, Henry F, Megan M, Strangely Sarah, Christy Beck, Nancy and Andy, Amanda Lopez, Andy Terrell, Jason Hanovan, Erica Morin,
Tris Wynn, K.87, Mariah Jensen, Carrie A, Lonnie Lono, Pow, Kayla E, Maggie H, Murder Cena, Kristen Marcy, Ori81 Boricua, Look Like That One Girl, Bog Boy, Felnez63, Alita Pui, Probably My Jugs, Kate Thackeray, Wade Pack, A Lizard, Bay J, Jay Rich, Topher Williams, Elena Metler, Valerie K, Christy Lee Kruger, Professor of Humanity Laura McCarricker, Naomi, Josh Smith, Autumn Green, Abby Kopp, Crystal 831, Skank Sinatra, Morgan Alexander, Tony Osteen, Julie Fredborg, Rihanna S, Daniel Taylor, Anna Kate, Heather Ortiz, Kim H, August, Vengeance Spirit, Jenny May, Glittery Fab, Malik Caselli Armstrong, Scarly D, Toya Shea, Katie, Martin Shaw, Star, Tyler J, Cam Davies, Patrick Hoagland, Raven, D, Wesley Tart, Kristen Jackson, Jacob Nordberg, Spencer, Samantha, Damian Grant, Half Price Horror, Clemmy, Nisi Nay, Erica, Jason X Rules, Karen Burrows, Aaron Norman, Stephen Rogers, Victoria Smith, Patricia A. Graham, Erasmo Pena, Danielle Wright, Tabitha Thomas, Richard Murray, Irene, Sally Slater 52, Jordan McCarthy, Christy Michelle Wilson, Rosalind Harnias, Emily Rance, Amy, Lisa and Kathy, Mike H,
Christian Sadler, Hannah, Sarah Jack, Casey L, Evelyn Knight, Paula Garcia, Nikki M, Ghastly Grandad, Megan and Alexandra Saldivar, Lisa Sykes, Sonny Jonas, Kelsey Niemeyer Cook, The Face Flowers, JG, Morgan Novello, Ashley, Alex M, Brandon C, Gordon Sutherland, Georgia Renland, Ashley Poe, Najee P, Seth Schaff, Diana Joe, Connor Gormley, Carrie Parker, Katie Face, Jane Pillsbury, Caitlin Asher, Mia Franz, Pooh Bear, Spicy Caldera, This is the Zodiac Speaking, Jason the Ghost, Moldy Tic Tac, Brian Ward, Tanner Rutgers, Gremlin Keeper 22, Sam Spade 666, Veronica, Kristen Rhodes, Daniel Laurent, Carmito, TVR, A Very Sweepy Baby, Randy Tucker, Nicholas Rage, A Lazy Boy, Nicola Williams, Sadison Miles, Jasmine, Stu Corbett, Daniel Smith, Brick O, Pullout Lebowski, Jaden Nicole, Jody Grody, Lost Fan 08, George L. Robertson, Mercedes X Bleeple, Joel Miller Apologist, Jaylene Perry, Cool Trainer Elijah, Mrs. Bloomingdale, Sierra Duncan, Claire Cantwell, Renee Hart, Meg Like Sleep, Final Boy, Alani, Nosferadude, Elizabeth Thompson, Joey, Michelle Nicole, and the Lipstick Demon. Thank you all so much.
Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you all so much. And it's because of you that, like Jason, we're just going to keep coming back.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, this is our last episode ever.
We're liars. It's fine.
Until next time.